I'm cultivating immortality with the science of mortals. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 501 Seven Flame Fan and Heavenly Wind. Good. After noticing Han Li's gaze, Nan Longhao's face changed slightly, his eyes flickered, and he didn't know what he was thinking. Humph. Senior brother's guess was right, these two came here for another purpose. Han Li snorted inwardly, but he also remembered Luo Hong's warning, and didn't expose Nan Longhao's intention. Just when the atmosphere between the three people became weird, a bang sound came, and Luo Hong's figure rushed out of the lava lake. Sorry to have kept junior brother Han waiting for a long time, let's go now. As soon as Luo Hong came out, he expressed his intention to leave, and then bowed to Nan Longhao and the other two and said, have a safe journey, fellow Daoists. Luo and junior brother Han will go first. Thank you for your good words, fellow Daoist Luo, then we will say goodbye here. Nan Longhao bowed in return, and said with a smile. As soon as the voice fell, Luo Hong and Han Li didn't say anything more, set up the escape light, and flew out of the nest. After watching the two disappear from sight, Nan Longhao's smile suddenly disappeared, and he patted his storage bag, and offered a black round bead, which supported a thin black light shield. Brother Nan Long, are you sure that the barrier bead can block the spiritual sense detection of fellow Daoist Luo? After seeing Luo Hong's amazing methods many times, Lu Weiying expressed great doubts about this. Luo Hong knew that we had other purposes, and with his strength, he could have a share of the pie, or even monopolized it directly, and there was no need to do that thing of going back and forth. This Marquis offered this barrier bead, mainly to prevent Han Li's spiritual sense. Nan Longhao himself did not expect that a mere barrier bead could block Luo Hong's spiritual sense. After all, he was crushed by Luo Hong himself. I wonder if fellow Daoist Luo really despises the treasures we are looking for, but has other urgent matters to attend to, so he left so abruptly. Brother Nan Long, I feel a little uneasy. Are you sure that the blood curse gate is the treasure left by the ancient cultivator? Lu Weiying felt something was wrong, and asked in a deep voice. The blood curse gate was a restriction used by the ancient cultivators to store treasures in ancient times. Didn't Brother Lu check the ancient books to confirm it before? Now we are just one step away from getting the treasure. Brother Lu, don't tell me that you want to back down. Nan Longhao's face was stern, and he said unhappily, it has come to this point, how can I be willing to give up? But, after opening the restriction, we'd better be careful. Lu Weiying entered the valley this time to risk his life, so he would not be scared away by his own uneasiness. Of course. After Nan Longhao responded casually, he picked up the transparent remains of the ancient cultivator, and chanted the spell. Outside the lair, Luo Hong was indeed not affected by the rosary, and heard the conversation between the two clearly. After learning that they would open the blood curse door as in the original time and space, he was relieved to withdraw his spiritual consciousness. Speaking of which, this entire falling demon valley is a cage, and there is only one prisoner, the ancient demon named Blood Flame. The one imprisoned behind the blood curse gate is the original spirit of Blood Flame, and Master Kankan is a fragment of the demon's soul. The preparations he made in his early years were to lure people into the valley, to break the restrictions of the blood curse gate. However, the magic power is easy to backfire, as the fragment of the soul separated from the main soul for a longer time. Master Kankan gradually awakened his self-consciousness, making him unwilling to release the main soul and delay the unsealing until today. At this moment, Wei Wu'er and Wang Shai and Sheng of the Ghost Spirit sect were being lured by him to the small space where the flesh of the ancient demon Blood Flame was imprisoned. Calculating the time when they pick the Lingsu fruit and refine the creation pill, it will be the time for the ancient demon's body to escape. Brother Luo, may I ask if there is any harvest under the lava lake? Han Li, who successfully obtained the inner pill of the ancient fire toad, was in a good mood. Now he was returning along the same route, and his safety was guaranteed, so he started chatting with Luo Hong. I did get a natural treasure, but it is very strong, so it is inconvenient to show it to you. In addition, there is a large molten crystal vein at the bottom of the lava lake. If the Luo sect wants to refine a large fire magic weapon in the future, they can go there to get the materials. Luo Hong did not hide it, nor did he explain it clearly. After all, the Earth Fire Green Lotus was related to Fairy Yin, and he did not want to be generous to others. Haha, senior brother Luo, you're joking. The bottom of that lake is not something you can dive into at will, and it's located in the Fallen Demon Valley. The molten crystal vein is truly a miracle. After Hanli lost his temper, he took out a jade slip from the bamboo tube behind him, threw it to Luo Hong, and said, "Senior brother Luo, this jade slip is something I got from the storage bag of that ancient cultivator. It records the method of refining a magic weapon called the Seven Flame Fan. Junior brother would like to ask senior brother for advice. Is there a chance to refine this treasure now?" Oh, the Seven Flame Fan. If I remember correctly, this treasure is also a Tangshan Ling Bao from ancient times, and it is a Tangshan Ling Bao that is purely famous for its power. It seems to have been quite famous in ancient times. However, refining this treasure requires 99 and 81 rare fire type spiritual materials. I can gather some of those dead things for you, but for things like spirit beast feathers, you have to figure it out yourself. Luo Hong didn't even look at the jade slip, and seemed to know the spiritual materials needed to refine the Seven Flame Fan. He said calmly, "Brother Luo, I wonder if it is possible to reduce the spiritual materials needed, and refine a replica of the Seven Flame Fan like the Xianlin Holy Cauldron?" After reading the method of refining the Seven Flame Fan, Hanli immediately thought of the Xianlin Holy Cauldron, and then thought of refining a replica of the Seven Flame Fan. This method is indeed feasible, but reducing the number and types of spiritual materials requires strict control, and it cannot be comprehended in a short period of time. After I go back this time, I need to practice a vital magical power in seclusion, but I have no time to help you. The one thought transformation art is a way out for Luo Hong. He must practice it as soon as possible, and cannot delay any longer. Just knowing that this road is feasible, I'm satisfied, and I dare not trouble you too much. However, you can be so calm when facing things related to Tangshan Ling Bao, which really makes me admire you. Hanli thought of the shock of Day and Shenzhen when he heard the four words Tangshan Ling Bao, and he sighed sincerely. Haha, if I saw the jade slip recording the method of refining Tangshan Ling Bao for the first time, I would definitely not be calm. Here, there is also a method of refining Tangshan Ling Bao in this jade slip that is somewhat similar to the Seven Flame Fan. If you are interested, you can take it to comprehend it. As Luo Hong said this, he took out the jade slip for refining treasures that he got from the Wentian cave mansion that year, and threw it to Han Lao. What? There is another method for refining a supernatural treasure? Han boy, bring it to me. When I was alive, I had no chance to see even a tiny bit of this kind of treasure, and now only a remnant soul is left, but I have obtained the methods for refining two treasures at once. It's really fate playing tricks on me. Lord Dayan said with a hint of sourness and depression. Chapter 502 Testing the Purple Scorpion. The jade slip that Luo Hong had written contained the method for refining a magical treasure called Heavenly Wind Gourd. Like the Seven Flame Fan, it was a magical treasure that pursued pure power. The Heavenly Wind Crystal in Luo Hong's hand was one of the key spiritual materials for refining this treasure. Although Luo Hong had not deliberately collected the spiritual materials for refining the Heavenly Wind Gourd over the years, he had gathered most of them unintentionally. Unfortunately, there was no news about the most critical 10,000-year purple gold gourd. Therefore, Luo Hong had never started to refine it. Now that he had the Heavenly Demon Flag and the Rakshasa hand, his demand for imitation spiritual treasures was even lower, and he was thinking of having less than what he needed. Luo Hong and Hanli talked about the magical treasure for a long time, and when they came to their senses, they had already come to the vicinity of the two mountains they had passed by before. Junior brother Han, this flying purple striped scorpion is a powerful spiritual insect that ranks right next to the gold-eating insect. This is a rare opportunity. Don't you want to see it? After staring at the mountain on the right for a while, Luo Hong suddenly turned to Han Lao and said, "This kind of vicious insect is extremely brutal and has no intelligence at all. It may be difficult for senior brother Luo to subdue them. Hardly knew Luo Hong's thoughts. He had raised and cultivated gold-eating insects for many years, and knew a lot about the existence of vicious insects. You know, like him, he planted restrictions in the egg stage, and when it grew up, it was difficult to drive it. It is conceivable how difficult it would be to subdue these vicious insects in the future. I have another way to subdue it, which I have never used before. This time, I will try it with these flying purple striped scorpions. If it doesn't work, we can also harvest some top-level monster materials. Luo Hong did not plan to use the Yuanshan restriction method to control and enslave the flying purple striped scorpion this time, but had other ideas. Since senior brother Luo is interested, I will accompany you for a walk, so that I can see your skills, and broaden my horizons. Harley saw that Luo Hong had made up his mind, so he did not persuade him. After all, a dozen flying purple striped scorpions were no match for the two of them, and it would only take a little more effort. Haha, then you must show your skills. After joking, Luo Hong immediately fled to the right mountain. Since Luo Hong did not restrain his breath, soon there was movement from the depths of the mountain. After hearing a few noisy strange sounds, Hanli felt that the true energy in his body stagnated, and he could not help feeling dizzy as his blood and ki surged. Fortunately, after Hanli quickly practiced his skills, the strange feeling disappeared. He hurriedly looked at Luo Hong in front of him, only to see that the other party did not seem to be affected at all, and had already fled to the vicinity of the mountain top. In fact, as long as you are prepared, it is not difficult to deal with this strange magical power of the flying purple striped scorpion. But apart from Luo Hong, how many people in the human world know the magical power of the flying purple striped scorpion? After all, this scorpion is extremely rare outside, and almost no one grows to maturity. Therefore, basically all cultivators who encounter this scorpion have to go through this experience with Hanleo. And there is no need to say how dangerous it is to lose consciousness during a battle. As soon as Luo Hong approached the top of the mountain, 12 black-purple scorpions, each of which was about 10 feet in size, with a pair of transparent red wings on their backs, and the rest were no different from ordinary scorpions, took off into the air. The leading one seemed to be a leader-like existence, with a size of 2 feet, more than twice that of its kind. Facing Luo Hong, who broke into their territory, the purple striped scorpion leader spewed yellow poisonous mist from his mouth, without any hesitation, and pounced on him ferociously. Come on, let me see how tough you are. Luo Hong was not afraid, and turned his palm to offer the diamond circle magic weapon he got from Wenke, and pointed his sword at it, causing it to fly out. The purple striped scorpion leader did not dodge, but swung his giant pincers, and smashed at the diamond ring. As soon as the two touched, there was a loud sound of metal clashing, and the diamond ring was suddenly bounced away. The purple striped scorpion leader not only did not show any pain, but even his body did not shake. This diamond ring is a magic weapon that is specially used to break people's protective objects. Now it hits the purple striped scorpion leader, but it has this result. It can be seen that the description of this insect in the list of strange insects in the world is not exaggerated. However, this further strengthened Luo Hong's idea of recruiting him as a thug. After knocking the diamond ring away, the purple striped scorpion leader fluttered his thin wings behind him, turning into a purple light and sticking close to Luo Hong in an instant. Then, a cold light flashed from the scorpion's tail, and it pierced Luo Hong's chest in an instant. However, Luo Hong seemed to be fine, smiling and saying, "Very good burst of speed. This attack is too much for an ordinary mid-stage nascent soul cultivator." Before he finished speaking, Luo Hong's figure turned into a colorful glow and quickly disappeared. It turned out that this was just a fake body created by Luo Hong, and its real position was still more than 10 feet away. Being fooled by this, the purple striped scorpion leader was furious. After Xiang Li roared, the other 11 purple striped scorpions also responded. Suddenly, the magical power that could imprison the true essence broke out again, and the power was more than 10 times greater. Resonance at the level of true essence? There are some tricks, but it is useless to me. Luo Hong's tone was still calm, and he seemed to be unaffected by the flying purple striped scorpion magical power, and he took the initiative to show his figure. The degree of consolidation of the true essence of a cultivator is affected by his cultivation and physical strength. Luo Hong is strong in both, so he can resist it. The intelligence of fierce insects is generally not high, but their instinct to fight is extremely strong. Seeing that their special magical power was useless, the scorpion changed their strategy and began to spit out yellow poisonous clouds. As long as they touched the poisonous cloud, the soil and rocks would appear to be burning, and the grass and trees would turn into foul-smelling pus, which was really terrible. However, Luo Hong had the power of heaven and earth to protect himself. No matter how strong the poisonous cloud was, as long as it could not get close to him, it could not hurt it at all. So far, Luo Hong also personally understood the methods of the flying purple striped scorpion. It can be said that, if these 12 attacked the enemy together, even a cultivator in the late nascent soul stage would have a headache. If one of them was taken out alone, it would make ordinary cultivators in the early nascent soul stage flee in panic, and there was a high probability that they would not be able to escape. Seeing that the scorpion group hiding in the yellow poisonous cloud was about to attack violently, Luo Hong calmly stretched out his right palm, and in an instant, the giant hand of Rakshasa condensed out, and the 5 fingers were combined into a fist, and it blasted directly at the leader of the purple striped scorpion. Luo Hong's strength of more than 3 million pounds, plus the increase of the Rakshasa hand. This attack seemed ordinary, but in fact it contained terrifying power. As the giant fist of the Rakshasa came close to him, the leader of the purple striped scorpions wanted to use the same trick again, and raised his 2 pincers to resist. However, the next moment, the giant fist of the Rakshasa pressed down his 2 pincers, and landed heavily on his forehead. With a loud bang, a purple meteor fell to the ground, and there was no movement for a long time. Although the leader was hit hard, the other purple striped scorpions did not retreat at all, and continued to hiss and kill Luo Hong. Chapter 503 Golden Sacred Alcohol Liquid. The ordinary flying purple striped scorpions were much weaker than their leader. Luo Hong used his escape technique to dodge and move, hammering them down one by one. Dong 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 raised a cloud of dust on the mountain below. Fortunately, the shells of the flying purple striped scorpions were extremely hard and their vitality was strong. After Luo Hong's hammering, none of them died. However, after being hit so hard, they were unable to move. They lay in the pit one by one, their limbs trembling and making weak hisses. Seeing this, Luo Hong didn't say anything, stretched out his arm, and offered the heavenly demon flag. The next moment, 12 black domain demons followed the order and rushed into the bodies of these flying purple striped scorpions, devouring their little intelligence and occupying their bodies as if they were taking over their bodies. High-level extraterritorial demons. There are so many of them. Han, your senior brother is really bold and reckless. He is not subject to the old rules. He is really more and more to my taste. Dayan, the Divine Master, had the opportunity to travel to the outer world and knew something about extraterritorial demons. So when he sensed the breath of the black demon, he recognized it. As expected of senior brother Luo, you always show unconventional means. Extraterritorial demons are the existences that old cultivators avoid. After all, the day they meet is the day when they invade their souls. If they are not careful, they will end up dead. But Han Li was not surprised that Luo Hong could control such an existence. He even felt a sense of absurdity that he had become accustomed to. On the other side, after the black demon took over the flying purple striped scorpion, it took a long time for it to recover. It jumped out of the pit one after another and flew into the storage bag on Luo Hong's waist. Junior brother Han, the size of the purple striped scorpion leader is twice as large as normal. It is very likely that he has swallowed some kind of natural treasure. Let's split up and search this mountain to see if we can get anything. After subduing the flying purple striped scorpion, Luo Hong glanced at the mountain below and said to Han Lao, it is indeed a bit strange. Then junior brother will be responsible for searching the mountain on the west side. Han Li agreed with Luo Hong's speculation. After speaking, he flew down and searched close to the ground. After Luo Hong nodded slightly, he began to wander back and forth in the mountain on the east side, trying to find something unusual. The spiritual consciousness of the two of them was far superior to that of the cultivators of the same level, and their flight speed was fast. So only a quarter of an hour later, Luo Hong heard the voice of Han Lao. Senior brother Luo, junior brother has found something here. Upon hearing the news, Luo Hong's figure flashed repeatedly, and in a few breaths, he used the magical power of shrinking the earth into an inch, to arrive outside a thick rock crack. Following the cracks in the rock, and entering the interior of the mountain, Luo Hong followed Han Leomo's breath, and escaped to a natural cave. At this time, stalactites of various sizes hung above his head, and the footprints of the flying purple striped scorpion were clearly visible under his feet. Well, it seems that Han Leomo has found the right place. Thinking of this, Luo Hong took a step forward, and the scenery in front of him blurred, and he appeared next to Han Leomo. Brother Luo, this spiritual liquid seems to be the reason why the purple striped scorpion leader is abnormal in size, but I have never seen this spiritual liquid in modern and ancient books. Can you recognize it? As soon as Luo Hong appeared, Han Li pointed to a concave stone platform in front of him and asked. Looking up, Luo Hong saw a handful of light golden, thick liquid in the center of the stone platform, like a tonic soup. This spiritual liquid was passed down from ancient times, so Luo Hong naturally didn't know it, so he sent a message to Fairy Silver. Fairy, you have a wide range of knowledge, do you know where this spiritual liquid comes from? The appearance of the Earth Fire Green Lotus officially established a cooperative relationship between the two. If it were before, Luo Hong would not ask, because it would basically be a waste of time, and would not get a response. Dao Luo, try to use the spiritual power of Earth to it. Fairy Silver was also a little unsure and said hesitantly. Hearing this, Luo Hong immediately pointed his sword, and a large spiritual power beam of earth yellow shot out from his fingertips. The light golden spiritual liquid was stimulated by this, and it actually exuded a mellow fragrance, which made people feel comfortable all over. That's right, this is the Golden Saint alcohol liquid, a spiritual object that is rarely seen in the spiritual world. It has. Fairy Silver immediately confirmed her guess when she saw this, and told Luo Hong the effects of the Golden Saint alcohol liquid one by one. Then, Luo Hong did not hide it from Han Leomo, and said calmly, if my brother is right, this spiritual liquid should be a natural treasure called Golden Saint alcohol liquid. If it is taken raw, it can greatly improve the physical strength of the cultivator. If it is a monster, it can make its body larger and become the best among its kind. However, its real function is to prepare a medicinal liquid called Golden Mysterious Dragon Body Fluid. Apply this medicinal liquid to the whole body, absorb and refine it, and the cultivator will be able to increase his power by as much as 50% when performing magical powers such as the law of heaven and earth in the future. Coincidentally, the three most critical spiritual medicines among the other spiritual medicines required for this medicinal liquid are just included in the ancient spiritual medicine seedlings that my brother gave to my junior brother to cultivate. After that, Luo Hong took out a blank jade slip and put it on his forehead, copied the formula of the medicinal liquid that the silver fairy told him into it, and then handed it to Han Leomo and said, this is the formula of the golden mysterious dragon body fluid, junior brother, take it. Han Li took the jade slip and looked at it. He found that the remaining alcohol liquid in the stone platform was enough to refine 2 portions of Jingxuan long body fluid. He immediately understood what Luo Hong meant. He didn't say much. He then offered a jade bottle and collected all the alcohol liquid in the stone platform. When the liquid medicine is refined, junior brother will personally send it to Huangfeng Valley. Haha, it's all up to you, junior brother. Now that we have the treasure, let's go and see how much Gangansha your junior brother's gold-eating insects have dug out. Before he finished speaking, Luo Hong fled out of the mountain. After Han Li put the jade bottle into the storage bag, he turned into a green escape light and followed closely. It is worth mentioning that, after controlling the flying purple striped scorpion, Luo Hong did not put away the heavenly demon flag. At this time, while flying and hurrying, he quietly sent a message to King Feng. King Feng, do you know anything about the North Pole Yuangang? Sir, I have never seen this divine light outside the domain, so I have no way of understanding it. King Feng replied calmly. Then how much do you know about meteorites from outer space? Luo Hong frowned and continued to ask. Meteorites from outer space? Is that what you are talking about? After King Feng asked doubtfully, a green light suddenly flashed on his chest, and then a large black stone that looked like a meteorite came out. Luo Hong felt it and found that the aura of this black stone was very similar to that of the yin yang ring. He couldn't help but wonder, it should be this thing. But why do you carry it with you? Could it be that meteorites from outer space are beneficial to the demon clan? Your Excellency has misunderstood. This stone is of no benefit to my cultivation. It's just that the outer space is vast and boundless, and there are few substances. I just think it's strange, so I took it into my body. If you need it, I still have a lot here. After saying that, King Feng took out 3 more pieces of meteorites of different sizes. Chapter 504, Talisman and Tracking. After King Feng released these 4 pieces of meteorite, they slowly rotated around each other, as if there was an invisible force pulling them. These meteorites have yin and yang attributes. These 4 pieces are just 2 yin and 2 yang. You can use them at will. In fact, even without King Feng saying it, Luo Hong has already seen that the invisible force contained in these meteorites is very similar to magnetic force. In addition, Luo Hong also knows that the 2 element rings are actually a pair, and Han Laomo has a yang ring in his hand. Han Laomo got the yin ring from Master Kankan's cave, and he is not afraid of being hurt by the North Pole Yuangang when he sacrifices it. And the yang ring was obtained by Han Laomo from Shizankin when he took back Nangang Wan, and he can control the North Pole Yuangang to attack the enemy when he sacrifices it. Thinking of this, Luo Hong had a general idea, and he immediately grabbed a piece of yin and yang meteorite from the heavenly demon flag without hesitation. As his mind moved, 2 groups of black and black true flames wrapped up the 2 meteorites. Under the burning flames, the impurities in the 2 pieces of meteorite were quickly refined into ash. After about an hour, Luo Hong obtained 2 balls of silver gray metal liquid. Then, under his distracted control, the 2 balls of metal liquid merged and condensed, and finally turned into a silver gray metal gourd. Since refining this thing only requires the use of the inherent characteristics of a single spiritual material, there is no particularly subtle operation, and Luo Hong did not even stop the escape light. Not long after the Liangai gourd condensed, the 2 arrived in front of the passage filled with the northern polar light. Brother Luo, why do you have the leisure to refine magic tools while you are on the road? Along the way, Han Li saw Luo Hong's strange behavior clearly, and finally couldn't help his curiosity and asked, I just got some insights after seeing your brother's Liangyi ring, and remembered that I had also obtained 2 pieces of meteorite iron from outer space, so I tried to refine this Liangyi gourd. Brother Han, please wait for a moment. Although this gourd has solidified, it still lacks some restrictions. After a brief explanation, Luo Hong offered the Liangyi gourd to the air, pointed his sword fingers with both hands, and cast one spell after another. After a while, many mysterious runes were printed on the outer wall of the gourd. Okay, this gourd is considered to be refined. But whether it can achieve the effect I expected, we will know after the experiment. Go. Luo Hong's face flashed with joy, and he only heard him shout lightly, and the Liangyi gourd, that had just been refined, flew into the passage and directly sank into the dense silver white light threads. However, at this time, the North Pole Yuangang, which was known to be the most powerful magic weapon in the world, not only could not hurt the Liangyi gourd, but was swallowed into the gourd mouth by Luo Hong after the spell in his hand changed. Seeing that the magic weapon he refined was effective, Luo Hong immediately activated his magic power, causing the suction power of the Liangyi gourd to increase several times. Countless silver white light threads, like swimming fish, actively converged into the gourd mouth, and the scene looked quite gorgeous. Under such violent suction, even though this passage was not short, the North Pole Yuangang in it disappeared soon. At this time, Luo Hong gently lifted the Liangyi gourd filled with countless North Pole Yuangang in his palm. Due to the absorption of a large amount of North Pole Yuangang, the silver white spiritual light shone through the outer wall of the gourd, as if the Liangyi gourd was transparent. It's done. When I have free time, I must study this divine light carefully. Luo Hong was secretly delighted, and he turned his palm and put the Liangyi gourd into the Wanbao bag, then turned to Han Laomo and said, Brother Han, let's go. I'm afraid that fellow Daoist Zealing and the others will be waiting anxiously. Han Li nodded in a daze and subconsciously flew to catch up. In the outer valley of the fallen demon, in a dense forest with weak spiritual energy, Zealing and Song Mengan were sitting cross-legged under a tree that could be hugged by 10 people. They had set up a high-level illusion array around them, which could conceal their figures and breath. However, if a cultivator above the nascent soul stage came closer to take a look, they would be able to find some clues. Fortunately, the nascent soul cultivators who entered the fallen demon valley were busy looking for treasures, and they would not be interested in this dense forest with weak spiritual energy. Therefore, although they had been in the valley for several days and there had been 5 waves of cultivators passing through the dense forest, the 2 women were always safe. The spiritual energy in the fallen demon valley was violent. Although the 2 women were sitting cross-legged in meditation, they were not practicing, but just gathering their energy to hide. But it was obvious that Song Mengan had been relaxed for the past few days due to her safety. When gathering her energy, she would always open her eyes to peek at Zealing opposite her. Every time she looked at her, she would lower her head with a red face and close her eyes, but soon she couldn't help but look at her secretly. It turned out that due to the special environment in the Devil Valley, the magic weapon that Zealing had been using to conceal her true appearance had lost its effect. Now that her beautiful face was exposed, even Song Mengan, who was also a woman, could not control herself. Sister Song, please be more serious. If we reveal our aura, we will be in danger. Zealing sighed and opened her eyes. Although her voice was pleasant to the ears, it was obviously full of resentment. He, who made Sister Zealing so beautiful? I can't help myself. After being exposed, Song Mengan was no longer shy. She covered her mouth and chuckled, and said with a slight turn of eyes, Uncle Han and Senior Luo seem to take good care of me, and I don't reject the 2 seniors, like I do to other men. I wonder which one I love? Sister is still teasing me. Brother Han has great magical powers, and is my uncle. I guess you often meet in the sect. Sister has no intention of committing to him? Faced with Song Mengan's verbal teasing, Zealing directly turned the tables and made Song Mengan blush. Seeing the other party's expression, Zealing knew that she was right. After a moment of secretly rejoicing, she suddenly felt a little jealous. If possible, Uncle Han is indeed a man worthy of entrusting one's life to. Just seeing that he and Senior Luo stood up for the female cultivator of the Yuling sect together, we know that he is a man who cherishes flowers. However, I should have no chance, but with your peerless appearance, Sister Zealing, Uncle Han may have a hard time getting through this. Song Mengan knew what Zealing meant when she just mentioned Hanli. After a moment of sadness, he smiled evilly. Zealing was about to reply when a strange male voice suddenly came from the illusion array. I didn't expect that there were 2 beauties hiding in this quiet forest. If it weren't for Huang's nose, I would have missed such a good fortune. As soon as the voice came out, the 2 immediately soared into the air, sacrificed their magic weapons, and took a defensive posture while controlling their consciousness to scan the surroundings. However, although the voice just now was close at hand, they could not find any trace of the other party. Oh no, could it be some yuanying old monster? Thinking that the other party could sneak into the formation quietly and had such a powerful way to suppress the key, Zealing couldn't help but feel cold in her heart and clenched the treasure bottle in her hand. May I ask who is here? I'm an elder of Luo Hong sect. Please don't make things difficult for us for the sake of Uncle Han. Song Mengan obviously made the same judgment as Zealing and immediately offered Han Li's name and bowed to the surroundings. Humph. You are Han Li's nephew, so what? Can he come to save you at this time? If you want to live, drip your blood on the soul control card and be a furnace for me for 100 years, and I will give you freedom. As soon as the fierce male voice fell, 2 black iron plates flew out of thin air and landed in front of the 2 people. Hearing this person's big tone, the 2 women couldn't help but become more afraid, but it was impossible for them to be willing to be a human furnace. Zealing didn't even think about it. With a fixed gaze, she took out a blood-colored pill and wanted to fight with the other party. At this moment, a jade pendant on her waist suddenly emitted a green spiritual light. Before she could show her joy, Han Li's cold voice enveloped the dense forest. Which Taoist friend is bullying my disciples here? Haha, Junior Brother Han, where is the Taoist friend? There is only a giant and cultivator who is so bold as to be lecherous. Luo Hong's relaxed laughter followed closely, and she said something that surprised the two women. In midair, Han Li couldn't help but frown when he heard the words, and his eyes lit up with blue spiritual light. Suddenly, he saw a skinny man holding a huge shield, shrouded in a layer of yellow spiritual light, who was about to quietly escape. He took a closer look, and found that the other party was just a giant and cultivator, as Luo Hong said. Immediately, Han Li's face became even colder, and he waved his sleeves to shoot out more than 10 green sword beams, slashing at the skinny man. Seeing the sword light coming, the skinny man no longer cared about hiding his body, and turned into a long rainbow, soaring into the sky, while begging for mercy to seniors. "Spare my life." Huang was just joking with the seniors' disciples. "Also, I'm from the Cheyenne Dao League." Han Li didn't care who this person was. A giant and cultivator offended him, and it was natural that he would die without redemption. I saw that the more than 10 green sword lights caught up with this person in a few breaths, and then turned into a green whirlwind, and swept him in. The giant shield held by this person only flashed a few times, and then shattered inch by inch. He himself was also torn into pieces with screams, and turned into a bloody rain. After easily killing this skinny man, Han Li grabbed his storage bag with a flick of his hand, and then he lightly exclaimed, and took out a talisman from a piece of broken body. "Meet Master Han, thank you for helping us out." Seeing that the crisis was resolved, Song Mengan flew forward and thanked him respectfully. "Thanks to Brother Han for coming in time, otherwise our plan to pick fruits and refine pills would have failed." Ziling also flew over and stroked her chest with a look of fear. If she took the pill that stimulated her potential, she would not have to think about refining pills in the future. "Master Han, this person's cultivation is obviously not much different from that of my disciple and sister Ziling. Why is his concealment technique so strong that he can quietly break into the formation set up by sister Ziling?" Song Mengan was very concerned about this. She never wanted to encounter such a scary situation like today again. If Han is right, that person probably relied on this talisman. "Brother Luo, what do you think?" Han Li handed the talisman he got from the skinny man to Luo Hong, and asked in a deep voice. After taking the talisman, and taking a quick look at it, Luo Hong knew its origin. The talisman pattern still had a very obvious shadow of silver tadpole text, and the style was simple. It was obviously a talisman made by an ancient cultivator, after he comprehended the Golden Palace Jade Book. Only this kind of talisman could prevent Han Leomo from seeing through the figure of a giant and cultivator in an instant. So, after looking at it carefully, Luo Hong said lightly, "This is an ancient talisman, which is extremely rare. I'm afraid that there is only one in the whole Cheyenne. Junior Brother Han, I'm interested in this talisman. Can you lend it to me for a search?" After this trip to the Falling Demon Valley, Luo Han will start to comprehend the silver tadpole text, and this talisman may be helpful. Since senior brother Luo is interested, just take it. Why bother about whether to lend it or not? Han Li did not think highly of the aura collecting effect of this talisman, and immediately used it as a favor. "That's great. Fellow Daoist Ziling, since you and fellow Daoist Song are staying here, this should be the first marked place." Luo Hong nodded slightly, put the talisman into the treasure bag, and asked about the business. "Yes, although the original mark has been destroyed by the ghost spirit sect, this proves that we are not in the wrong place." Ziling smiled and replied seriously. The first person to discover the Lingsu fruit was a Yuanying elder of the ghost spirit sect who knew that his time was coming. In order to fight for immortality, this person brazenly broke into the Falling Demon Valley. Although he did not end up well, his Yuanying escaped from the Falling Demon Valley by chance, and left a vague map for the ghost spirit sect. The mark that Luo Hong and the others are talking about now was left by this person. And following these marks, you can find the general location of the Lingsu fruit. Without further delay, we set out immediately. First catch up with the people from the ghost spirit sect, then overtake them to find the remaining marks, and grab the spirit candle fruit first. Han Li knew that Ziling had prepared means to track down the people from the ghost spirit sect, so he immediately suggested that everyone set out. "Uncle Han, isn't this a bit too hasty? We must be careful of the spatial cracks in the Fallen Demon Valley." After hearing Han Li's plan, Song Mengan couldn't help but feel that it was too rough, and said a little uneasily, No problem, Brother Luo's spiritual eyes can even see through invisible spatial cracks. With him, we just need to be careful to avoid the restrictions in the valley. Hanli's mouth corner slightly raised, pointing to the vertical eye between Luo Hong's eyebrows. Brother Luo actually has such magical powers. That's really great. I'll release the spirit rat now. Upon hearing this news, Zealing was overjoyed and immediately summoned a silver-haired mouse, ordering it to follow the center track. A few months ago, Zealing secretly put a colorless and odorless fragrance from the Chaos Stasi on a Chindan monk of the Ghost Spirit sect, which could only be smelled by certain spirit beasts. Therefore, after the silver-haired mouse came out, it just squeaked and pointed the direction to the 4 people. With the help of this mouse, the 4 people soon came to a passage leading to the inner valley. The place was covered with ice and snow, and the wind was cold. A huge iceberg blocked the way for the 4 people. The top of the iceberg was shrouded in blood-red clouds, and could not be passed. Only a huge ice crack at the bottom might be passable. It was thought that the people of the Ghost Spirit sect entered the inner valley from here. Not long after the 4 people escaped into the ice crack, Luo Hong found many traces of violently breaking the ban around them, and there was also a corpse of a Ghost Spirit sect monk. His body was frozen to pieces, and there was an extremely terrified expression on his face. Obviously, he had unfortunately triggered a powerful ban, and was instantly frozen to death. Chapter 505, Kill the beast, and get the fruit. However, although the spiritual energy in the ice crack was extremely chaotic, the previous restrictions had not yet been restored. Luo Hong and the other 4 reached the other end of the ice crack with almost no effort, and entered the inner valley. At this time, the silver-haired mouse, that had been leading the way obediently suddenly became manic, turning around in circles in Zealing's white palm, and no longer obeyed Zealing's orders. This immediately made Zealing look anxious. If there was no mouse to lead the way, where would they find the people from the Ghost Spirit sect in the huge inner valley? What's going on? Could it be that the Ghost Spirit sect has discovered something? Harley frowned and asked gloomily. Neither the gold-eating insects he drove nor the insect beasts he encountered in the inner valley showed any symptoms of madness, so the first thing he thought of was that the Ghost Spirit sect monks found themselves being tracked and took corresponding countermeasures. The bloodlight forbidden magic energy in the inner valley is very strong and fierce. It is not surprising that some spirit beasts would be captured by the forbidden aura when they come here. As he was in a hurry, Luo Hong did not play dumb and told the truth directly. No matter what the reason is, we can no longer continue to track the Ghost Spirit sect monks. What should we do next? Song Mengan frowned and said anxiously. In the inner valley, there are many space cracks and restrictions. The Ghost Spirit sect's speed of travel will not be much faster than in the ice crack channel. It should not be. Haha, found it. The Ghost Spirit sect monks are currently near a pile of rocks. Is that also one of the marking points? As he spoke, Luo Hong released his spiritual sense and found the traces of the Ghost Spirit sect across more than 1,000 miles. That's right, and after passing that pile of rocks, there are 2 more marked points, and we will reach the place where the spirit candle fruit is. Zealing was stunned for a moment, and then she smiled when she reacted. Then we have to compete with them in terms of speed. Luo Hong said with a slight smile, then waved his sleeves to summon the magic dragon boat and signaled everyone to board the boat. Flying at full speed in the falling demon valley is something that others would not even think about. After all, as long as they hit a space crack, the boat would be destroyed and everyone would die. But Luo Hong has the ability to see through all kinds of space cracks, so he doesn't have to worry too much. Zealing and the others also knew this, so they boarded the magic dragon boat without hesitation. Then, Luo Hong drove the magic dragon boat towards the Ghost Spirit sect, constantly adjusting the route along the way, bypassing countless space cracks. After only half an hour, Luo Hong and the others caught up with the Ghost Spirit sect. At this time, the Ghost Spirit sect was busy dealing with a disciple who accidentally touched the restriction, and had no time to deal with the whizzing demon dragon boat. They could only watch other cultivators rushing ahead of them. Senior Luo, isn't it a bit bad for us to be so blatant? Song Mengan believed that only by avoiding the Ghost Spirit sect cultivators and taking the spiritual fruit without anyone noticing could they concentrate on refining the elixir. Now, even if they obtained the spiritual candle fruit, the ghost spirit sect would guess that it was them when they arrived, and they would definitely search everywhere, disturbing them. Haha, with Luo as the guardian, Daoist fellow Zealing, and junior brother Han, can start refining the elixir. It's fine if the ghost spirit sect cultivators don't come to us. If they do, Luo can use them to test the power of the flying purple scorpion. In the original time and space, Han Luo Mo was timid when dealing with the ghost spirit sect cultivators because of the problem of refining the elixir. Now with Luo Hong by his side, he is naturally relieved. Therefore, Han Luo Mo did not think there was anything wrong with Luo Hong's action of rushing directly over the heads of the ghost spirit sect. The advantage of following the marked locations is that you don't have to worry about powerful ancient restrictions blocking the way. Soon, after surpassing the ghost spirit sect cultivators, Luo Hong passed the bird-shaped mountain and the Wanli desert, the two marked points, and finally found an oasis covered by restrictions. The restrictions here are not difficult to break. Luo Hong just casually cast two ban-breaking talismans and blasted a hole about 10 feet wide. After entering, the four people advanced into the oasis and soon arrived at the central pool. In the center of the green pool, there was a small piece of mud exposed above the water, and there grew a emerald green spiritual grass. The grass was several feet tall, covered with thumb-sized oval leaves, and at the highest point of the grass, there were 4 strange fruits growing alone. These fruits are all fiery red, thin at the top and wide at the bottom, with a faint red light flashing on the top, like a lit red candle, and also exuding a strong medicinal fragrance. There is no doubt that it is the Lingzhu fruit they are looking for this time. Great, there are just enough Lingzhu fruits here for each of us. Brother Han, let's pick them now to avoid more trouble. Zealing's bright eyes sparkled, and his face showed excitement, and he couldn't wait to say it. Taoist Zealing, don't worry, spiritual medicines like Lingzhu fruit will not be without demon beasts to protect them. After persuading Zealing, who was eager to try, Luo Hong said to Han Luo Mo, Junior brother Han, the ancient beast hidden in the lake may look ugly, but its body can hide from my spiritual sense detection. It is the best material for making a concealing robe. Please leave it with a whole body. In the original time and space, Han Luo Mo directly drove the gold-eating insect swarm to devour the ancient beast, which was really a bit of a waste of natural resources. At this time, Han Li had just used his minking spirit eyes to see through the figure of the ancient beast at the bottom of the lake. Hearing this, he nodded slightly and said, please hold back, brother. Don't let this beast destroy the Lingzhu fruit. As soon as the voice fell, Han Li pinched a spell with both hands, and suddenly hundreds of sword lights flew out of his body, forming a large Zheng sword formation around the lake. Then, he was seen soaring into the air, condensing a golden thunderball in each hand, and smashing it hard into the lake. With a loud boom, 2 sky-high water columns exploded on the lake's surface at the same time, and golden arcs flashed wildly in the entire lake. The next moment, a huge whirlpool with a radius of several feet suddenly emerged on the lake's surface. Then there was a dull roar from the bottom of the lake, and a black and white demonic aura shot out from the whirlpool, wrapped in an extremely ugly ancient beast. The 6 or 7 feet long body of this beast looked like a pool of black mud, and it was full of potholes. Holes of varying sizes exuded a disgusting smell. In the middle of the mud, there was a huge meatball like a head that was slightly raised, but except for a single eye, it had no other organs. The ugly appearance of this ancient beast made Zealing and the other 2 girls pale and horrified. Han Li had been in battle for a long time and had seen many strange looking sea monsters. Naturally, the appearance of the ancient beast would not affect his speed. He immediately activated the Great Zheng Sword formation and transformed into golden sword threads to slash at the muddy ancient beast. At the same time, the hand gestures changed and more than 10 purple firebirds condensed and flew towards the muddy ancient beast. Luo Hong floated on the side with his hands behind his back, looking relaxed to support Han Luo Mo. In addition to its frighteningly ugly appearance and amazing concealment ability, this muddy ancient beast had no other powerful means, and its strength was weaker than that of the 3-headed giant python. Han Luo Mo had used the Great Zheng Sword formation, so naturally he would not let it have any chance. Sure enough, the firebird transformed by the purple fire pounced on the ancient mud beast and froze it completely. The subsequent golden sword thread slashed across and directly cut the beast into several pieces. Well, for Han Leo Mo, as long as it is not crushed or fed to insects, it is considered a complete corpse. Luo Hong complained in his heart and told himself not to ask for too much. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 506, Creation Illusion. After killing the ancient mud beast, Han Leo Mo collected the purple Luo extreme fire, unfreezing the ancient beast's corpse, and then took out a black and white demon pill from it. Luo Hong also reached out to take a section of the beast's body, and after refining it with the black crow true flame, he got a ball of light green colloid. He used his divine sense to probe, but he could not sense anything. Even Luo Hong's 7 deviations Yuan Shen could not sense it. The concealment function of this ball of light green colloid was the best in the human world. If it was used to refine a robe, it would definitely be a stealth weapon. After confirming this, Luo Hong refined the body of the ancient mud beast without saying a word, and put all the light green colloid obtained into the Wanbao bag. Although this beast was killed by Han Leo Mo, they had a tacit understanding between them, just like the Gang Yinsha, and it goes without saying that they would split the profits 50-50. In the future, Luo Hong's robes will naturally have a share of Han Leo Mo. During this time, Ziling had floated above the Lingsu fruit, stretched out her hand, and shot out a white light to pick 2 Lingsu fruits. Before they landed, Ziling offered a green wooden box to catch them, and sealed them to preserve their medicinal power. Afterwards, Ziling also did the same to the other 2, and threw them to Han Li. Sister Ziling, Uncle Han, where are you going to refine the medicine next? Song Mengan suppressed her excitement, and blinked her beautiful eyes. Of course, we are looking for a secret place. Does Brother Han have a favorite place? Ziling looked at Han Li with a smile. When Ziling asked this, Han Li immediately remembered the map of the fallen demon valley that he had obtained from the remains of the ancient cultivator. There was a specially marked place on the map, which was near this Wanli desert. Han Li immediately became interested and wanted to explore it, after refining the pill to see if he could get anything else. After this idea came up, he did not hide it from Luo Hong, and immediately sent a voice message to inform the other party of the matter. Haha, so that's how it is. Then let's go. Luo Hong naturally knew what was waiting for them there, but this was an important opportunity for Han Leo Mo. In order to ensure that time and space did not deviate too much, he could only pretend not to know. Humph, if we calculate the time, the split soul that occupied the demon body and the main soul that took over the body of Nun Long Hao should have escaped. I have raised you for so many years, and it is finally time to use you. Luo Hong's thoughts were churning in his mind, but the speed of the magic dragon boat did not slow down at all. Soon they had fled to the end of the desert, and came to a green and yellow plateau with different heights. After that, Luo Hong flew for another half a day along the map, and came to a mountain range with many peaks. After wandering for a while, he landed on an inconspicuous hill. Luo has used his magical powers to explore. There is neither a forbidden existence nor a space crack in this mountain. It is a good place to refine the elixir. After getting off the magic dragon boat, Luo Hong said with certainty, well, then senior brother Luo will protect you. Ziling and I will start refining the elixir here. Han Li nodded slightly, then dodged to the mountainside, summoned more than 10 flying swords, and quickly opened up a cave. Ziling also bowed to Luo Hong, and together with Song Mengan, found another place to open up a cave chamber. With the expectation of the Lingsu fruit, Luo Hong waved his sleeves, and summoned more than 10 formation flags, covering the entire hill in the formation. Then he patted the spirit beast bag again, and 12 flying purple scorpions roared out, turning into 12 purple rays, and disappearing into the forest. After making these arrangements, Luo Hong sat down on the ground, and released his spiritual sense to alert the surroundings. After 3 days of peace and quiet, Ziling and Han Li successfully refined the good fortune pill. Like the Lingsu fruit, the good fortune pill cannot be preserved for a long time. Even if it is delayed for an hour, the medicinal effect will be greatly reduced. Therefore, the good fortune pill must be taken immediately after it is refined. Although this place is secret and Luo Hong has set up measures, Han Leomo is still worried. Before taking the good fortune pill, he released tens of thousands of gold-eating insects in one breath to strengthen the defense. The two Zealand girls also spent time making some arrangements near the secret room. Only Luo Hong directly inserted the heavenly demon flag to his side and took his good fortune pill without hesitation. The pill melted in his mouth, and the medicinal power circulated in his stomach and rushed straight to his soul. The next moment, Luo Hong's consciousness blurred for a moment and fell into an illusion. In a hazy space, countless rays of light surrounded Luo Hong. His eyes were empty at first, but then they became agile and sharp, and without any signs, he began to pinch his fingers and chant. Suddenly, countless white light spots as big as beans appeared in the surrounding space, and they all rushed towards Luo Hong. At this time, Luo Hong's body burst into extremely dazzling colorful rays of light, and gradually condensed into the phantom of a colorful peacock with a length of 100 feet. As the tail feathers spread out, the 5-color divine light swept out, and the 5 element of energy were taken away wherever it passed. The countless alien monks with unicorn horns on the ground were drained of their essence and turned into food for the 5-color peacock. Then, the 5-color peacock seemed to be full and cried happily, and then suddenly turned into 5-color light spots. Just when these 5-color light spots were about to disappear, Luo Hong pointed his sword and suppressed them all, and then with his divine thoughts, he constructed a 5-color giant ring with a diameter of 100 miles. Then, Luo Hong's right palm was facing the sky, and his 5 fingers formed claws. The Zhenhe pearl in his danshan exerted the power of heaven and earth with all his strength. The next moment, the 100-mile giant ring began to shrink rapidly, and in a few breaths it was only a few inches in size, floating on Luo Hong's right palm. At this time, countless alien armies fled from the horizon in the distance, and there were many who were higher than his current realm. They were aggressive, as if they wanted to avenge the tribe members who were just swallowed by the 5-color peacock. Seeing this, Luo Hong smiled evilly, and a round bead wrapped in purple thunder floated out from his palm, which landed right in the center of the colorful ring. After offering the round bead, Luo Hong's right palm suddenly became as black as ink, and then he pushed out his palm suddenly, shattering the space in front of him. When he took it back, the object in his palm had disappeared. At the same time, a space crack suddenly appeared in the center of the alien army, spitting out the colorful ring. At this time, the colorful ring was not as quiet as it was in Luo Hong's hand, but was rotating around the central bead at a high speed, making an unsettling humming sound, and constantly shrinking its diameter. Finally, when it was reduced to half, as if it had reached a certain critical point, the colorful ring suddenly wrapped around the central bead, and continued to collapse with it. The next moment, unparalleled violent spiritual energy erupted from the alien army, and the rapidly expanding huge fireball swallowed up countless lives in an instant. Whether it was the protective magic weapons of these alien monks or the giant warships, they were all turned into dust in an instant. Before the aftermath of the explosion had dissipated, the world collapsed, and a huge space crack spanning thousands of miles opened like an eye of disaster. Those alien monks who were lucky enough to survive the explosion were all swallowed up and torn to pieces by the chaotic and violent space storm. Facing the disappearance of countless lives, Luo Hong's face was calm. He stretched out his hand and grabbed a fist-sized dark blue round bead from the center of the explosion. The appearance of this bead caused the space around Luo Hong to gradually distort, as if the world was turning upside down. But then Luo Hong suppressed it with great magic power, and then opened his mouth to spit out the Zhenhe pearl, slowly approaching it. The dark blue round bead seemed to be attracted by the same source of power, and without Luo Hong's control, it took the initiative to approach the Zhenhe pearl. Soon, the two came into contact. Chapter 507 Demon Appearance. When the two touched, there was no noise, and they merged into one easily. However, the next moment, something strange happened. The Zhenhe pearl was no longer under Luo Hong's control, and suddenly grew to the size of a mountain. A door came from its interior, and gradually patches of bright black and red spots appeared on its surface. along with many intertwined drawers. The Zenhei pearl suddenly burst into flames, and its size increased by more than double again, and its might filled the entire space. Just when Luo Hong wanted to see how the Zenhei pearl would evolve next, the world suddenly trembled, his consciousness blurred, and when he opened his eyes again, he had returned to the real hill. That's it? I thought I could take this opportunity to simulate the scene of a collapsing black hole, but I didn't expect that just breaking through the single Yang realm would make the illusion of creation unable to support it. However, the magical power of throwing nuclear bombs is quite interesting. Luo Hong rubbed his right palm, recalling the feeling in the illusion. However, no matter how he tried to recall, the spells and formulas he used when performing his magical powers in the illusion were extremely vague, and he could not remember them at all. On the contrary, the perception and control of the vitality of heaven and earth in the middle were extremely reliable, as if he had experienced it personally, and it was extremely real. There is no doubt that this was not very helpful for him to break through the subsequent realms. Joa, how long did your husband meditate after taking the medicine? Luo Hong comprehended it for half a day, and after thoroughly digesting it, he suddenly asked. Just 1 day and 2 nights, Brother Han and Zeeling have not come out of retreat yet. Yuan Yao's voice sounded softly in Luo Hong's heart. It's earlier than I expected. It seems that I really reached the limit of the creation pill at that time. After Luo Hong muttered to himself, he stood up and fled to the air, facing the southeast, and waited quietly. At this time, above an ancient restriction thousands of miles away, 4 nascent soul cultivators were showing their magical powers and launching one fierce attack after another, trying to break the restriction light shield below. The restrictions in the inner valley are also very powerful. Every time they are attacked, they will absorb most of the power of the attack and then turn into countless red thunderbolts to bombard. Therefore, the 4 nascent soul cultivators cannot relax their own defenses while attacking fiercely, so they have spent 2 whole days here. Master Shi, I'm afraid that we will have to spend another 2 days here if this continues. In my opinion, we need to use thunder and lightning to break this restriction with one blow. A bearded man who drove a golden giant sword seemed to be unable to bear the endless attack and defense. After slashing with a sword, he suggested impatiently, Brother Wang, although breaking the ban in this way is a bit slow, it is safer. If our full strength attack fails to break this ancient ban, when it counterattacks, we will definitely suffer. A skinny old man in black clothes nearby persuaded, while driving 16 black flying knives to split the incoming thunderbolts. Fellow Daoist Tang is right, but if we continue like this, we will soon run out of mana. The danger of running out of mana in such a dangerous place is much greater than being violently counterattacked by the ancient ban. The bearded man was not a fool, and he made the suggestion after some consideration. What the 2 fellow Daoists said makes sense. Master Shi, what do you think? Wu Yaozi, who was dressed in a black and blue Taoist robe, threw the question to Shi Zanqin. The noise we made when breaking the ban was huge, and it is indeed inappropriate to delay here for too long. I think we can take a risk. Just in case, I will use the most precious mountain and river map of the sect to protect you. Shi Zanqin was afraid that the noise they made here had attracted some malicious eyes. In order to avoid being eaten by the Oriole, she decided to use a heritage treasure of the Yanyu sect. Hearing the name of the mountain and river map of the sect, the skinny old man of Huadao Wu was speechless and immediately gathered power with the 3 of them. With the divine light from Shi Zanqin's treasure mirror, Wu Yaozi and the other 2 each launched a full strength attack, and suddenly 4 thick spiritual lights of different colors fell straight down. The 4 attacks hit the forbidden light shield at the same time, and with a roar, countless red lightning bolts shot out, rushing towards the 4 people like a wave. Faced with such a counterattack, Shi Zanqin and the other 4 had no intention of retreating to defend, but continued to increase their mana output, determined to break the ban below in one fell swoop. Just as the lightning ball approached, a scroll suspended in front of Shi Zanqin suddenly unfolded and turned into a paper wall blocking the 4 people. As soon as the lightning bolts touched the paper, they flew into the painting in a ripple. With the influx of countless red lightning balls, the mountains and rivers in the painting immediately suffered, and a large area was razed to the ground by the power of the lightning ball explosion. However, Compared with the entire scroll, the damaged area was only 1/10 or 1/12, which was not considered a serious injury at all. After blocking this wave of attacks, several winding cracks appeared on the ancient forbidden light shield. It was obvious that this restriction was already at the end of its strength. At this time, the bearded man wiped his left palm from his waist and offered a jade seal. During the fall, this seal grew to the size of a house and then slammed hard on the crack. Finally, after this blow, this ancient restriction reached its limit and shattered into light spots. After breaking the restriction, the 4 people immediately took back their magic weapons and flew away. After a search, they found a spiritual medicine with strange fruits, an ancient wristband treasure, a pair of red and blue jade beads, and some miscellaneous spiritual materials. Although they didn't know what the effect of the spiritual medicine was, the 4 people's eyes were fixed on it. Obviously, the 4 people's primary target was it. Ahem. 3 Taoist friends. Since I was the first to discover this place, then according to what we agreed in advance, this spiritual medicine should belong to me. Wu Aozi shook his whisk and said righteously, "Brother Wu Ao, what you said is wrong. You contributed the least when breaking the ban. How can you get the right to choose first? Moreover, this fruit is golden and shining. It is clearly a spiritual object of the gold element, which is just in line with the cultivation method that Wang is practicing. Haha, I hope you 3 will give Wang a face and give in." The bearded man chuckled and bowed to the 3 people. According to what Sect Master Wang said, this fruit should belong to me. If we didn't have the mountain and river map of our sect this time, how could we break the ban safely? This fruit should be used to make up for the damage of our sect's treasure. Shizankin and the bearded man are both in the middle stage of the nascent soul. Naturally, he would not be afraid of him, and he immediately scrambled for it. Sect Master Shi is a bit stingy. Everyone knows that, as long as the mountain and river map is not completely damaged, it can repair the damage by itself. It only takes more than 10 years. The skinny old man snorted coldly and dismantled Shizankin's stand without any hesitation. Just as the 4 of them were arguing over the elixir, a sinister laugh suddenly came from not far away. My luck is really good. I just got out of trouble, and I met 4 snacks. After eating your nascent soul, I can at least recover 10% of my soul power. Chapter 508. Eat 2 people in a row. The sudden human voice startled Shizankin and the other 3. They quickly scattered and sent out their spiritual senses to search for the source of the loud sound. Soon, they found Nanlang Hao, who was floating dozens of feet away, wrapped in black demonic energy and with silver white evil light in his eyes. As one of the few mid-stage nascent soul cultivators in Cheyenne, Shizankin and the bearded man had seen Nanlang Hao at trade fairs or other occasions, so they recognized him at a glance. Fellow Daoist Nanlang, what do you mean by what you just said? Nanlang Hao's appearance was obviously not right. The bearded man pretended to ask, but in fact he had secretly sent a message to the other 3, preparing to join forces to kill him. Want to kill me? If you human cultivators can do it, how can I see the light of day again today? For the coming of the holy ancestor, all of you obediently offer your nascent souls to me. However, before the words fell, Shizankin and the other 3 launched an attack at the same time. Shizankin summoned the condensed light mirror, which emitted a green divine light, to cover the Nanlang Marquis. Wu Aozi waved his whisk, rolling out thousands of white silks, wrapping the Nanlang Marquis around his waist. The bearded man shouted angrily, and summoned the golden giant sword, slashing at the Nanlang Marquis' head. The skinny old man summoned his own flying knife, stabbing at the Nanlang Marquis' vital points. The 4 people's attacks were not only fierce, but also coordinated in a very methodical way, as if they had been rehearsed in advance. If the Nanlang Marquis was still the original Nanlang Marquis, facing such an attack, he would definitely die in hatred. However, the Nanlang Marquis suddenly waved his arms, and the clang sound came out one after another, and the skinny old man's own flying knife was bounced away by his flesh alone. Then, he raised his arms and caught the bearded man's golden giant sword with his flesh palms. The 4 people were horrified and noticed that the arms of Nanlang Hao were black and shiny, with long purple-red thick veins all over them, and the palms were extremely rough, with black hair lingering, as if they had become ghost claws. But even such a pair of arms, after taking the full strength attack of the two nascent soul cultivators, was completely unharmed. The next moment, the blood-colored magic flames ignited all over the body of Nan Long Hao, and instantly burned the white silk wrapped around his torso. Moreover, the blood-colored magic flames also spread along his palms to the golden giant sword of the bearded man. Suddenly, the bearded man felt that his connection with the golden giant sword was greatly reduced, and his life magic weapon was actually going to be taken away by the other party. After trying to drive the golden giant sword to break free from the other party's restraints to no avail, the bearded man's face became fierce, and he actually blew up his life magic weapon. With a loud boom, the fragments of the golden giant sword were wrapped in the golden spiritual explosion and shot wildly around. Shi Zhanqin took back the Ningguang treasure mirror that had not worked from beginning to end, and looked at the center of the spiritual explosion. The power of the self-detonation of the life magic weapon of the middle stage nascent soul cultivator was enough to match the attack of the late stage nascent soul cultivator, and it was at such a close distance that, even if the opponent did not die, he would definitely be seriously injured. However, the next moment, the opponents disappeared or resurged again, and strangely appeared not far away. You really don't know what's good for you. The cold voice of Nan Long Hao came from behind the bearded man, and then a ghost hand pierced his dantian from behind, and grabbed his nascent soul. How could you? The bearded man could never have thought that he had been decisive enough after he realized that something was wrong, but he still couldn't escape. Before he could finish his words, Nan Long Hao stuffed his nascent soul into his mouth, chewed it a few times, and swallowed it directly. Then, the terrifying face of Nan Long Hao showed a satisfied look, and his eyes shone with even stronger greed. Wu Lian Xianzhen. What kind of evil spirit is this? Wu Aozi was so frightened by the scene of Nan Long Hao eating his nascent soul alive, that his soul flew away, and he sacrificed 2 protective magic weapons in a row. This evil creature is too fast to escape. We must work together to kill it, so that we can survive. Although Shi Zhanqin was also very horrified, after seeing the other party's strange escape technique, he knew that there was no hope of escape, and the only way to survive was to fight hard. Immediately, she reminded the two who had already had the intention to retreat. Wu Aozi and the skinny old man were both cultivators in the early stage of nascent soul. The 4 of them had previously been divided into 2 factions, one of which was led by Shi Zhanqin and Wu Aozi as a supplement, and the other was led by the bearded man and the skinny old man as a supplement. Now, the bearded man suddenly died, and the skinny old man from Huadao Wu was afraid of being assassinated by the two, so he immediately wanted to retreat. Although Shi Zhanqin had expressed his intention to fight to the death, he still didn't believe it. Therefore, after a feint, the skinny old man ignored Shi Zhanqin and the other two and directly used his secret technique to escape. As soon as he set up the escape light, Nan Long Hao set his sights on him. For the blood flame demon soul, if he devoured one more nascent soul, he could recover one more soul power, and the stronger the soul power, the stronger his combat power would be, and the easier it would be to obtain the nascent soul of the cultivator. Therefore, the lone nascent soul cultivator was obviously his best prey. At that moment, the black hair on Nan Long Hao rose, and his body moved, leaving a series of after images, rushing straight to the escaping skinny old man. Sensing the rapidly approaching Nan Long Hao, the skinny old man didn't care about regrets, and tried his best to sacrifice a red sun gold shield to block behind him. With a determined heart, he infused almost all his mana into it. As long as he could resist the next attack, he would have the opportunity to use the magical power of turning his body into a knife to escape. Under the skinny old man's desperate gamble, the spiritual light of the red sun gold shield soared by more than a foot. However, when Nan Long Hao caught up to him, he still slapped down with his claw without fear. The black ghost claw and the red spiritual light touched, and a kai kai sound was heard, but Nan Long Hao remained expressionless, and the ghost claw penetrated the light curtain and hit the shield. Fortunately, the skinny old man's efforts were not completely in vain. Although the red sun golden shield wailed after being hit, it finally withstood it. Seeing this, the skinny old man breathed a sigh of relief, and the blood color on his face recovered a little, and his figure gradually overlapped with the knife light. But at this moment, Nan Long Hao slightly hooked the corner of his mouth, showing a sarcastic look on his face. The next moment, the blood flame ignited on his ghost claw again, and with this bonus, the 5 fingers of the ghost claw immediately dug into the shield. Then, Nan Long Hao exerted his strength and made a big hole in the red sun golden shield. Then, he put his claws together to form a knife and stretched out his arms strangely twice and immediately pierced the skinny old man's heart like a magic spear. With a burst of strength, the skinny old man's body exploded into blood foam. At this time, a black spiritual light flashed, and a Yuan Ying figure appeared with a set of flying knives in his arms, and escaped dozens of feet in the blink of an eye. Just as the skinny old man's Yuan Ying was about to use his instantaneous magical power to escape, a long dark purple tongue poked out from between his eyebrows. Chapter 509 Tonic. The dark purple tongue rolled up the nascent soul and sank into the mouth of Nan Long Hao. After a while, it was eaten alive by Nan Long Hao and turned into his soul power. After swallowing 2 nascent souls in a row, Nan Long Hao's aura was obviously improved, and the black demonic energy surrounding him was 3 points stronger than at the beginning. On the other hand, Shi Zhongkin's side, 2 of the 4 people had died, and the 2 survivors did not have enough mana. Gradually, a feeling of despair enveloped Shi Zhongkin and Wu Yao's hearts. At this time, Nan Long Hao seemed to have sensed this, and laughed strangely. Yes, this is the taste. Now your nascent soul must taste extra sweet. Give up the meaningless struggle. Nothing can save you now. Nan Long Hao's words seemed to have some kind of magical power. After hearing it, Shi Zhongkin and the others couldn't help but be in a mess, and they hesitated whether to escape or fight. Just as Nan Long Hao was about to attack Wu Yaozi, a loud noise that shook the earth suddenly came from a distance. Then, the entire Demon Valley trembled violently as if in pain. Fortunately, the 3 of them were flying in the air at this time and were not affected. However, stimulated by this, Shi Zhongkin and the others immediately stabilized their minds, looked at the source of the loud noise, and flew away at the same time. I saw a white line light up in the sky in the distance, and a shrill whistling sound rolled in like thunder. Soon, the white line turned from thin to thick, revealing its true face of a white wave. Sensing a tiny breath wrapped in the huge wave, the face of Nan Long Hao suddenly became ugly. After staring for a while, he chased after Shi Zhongkin and the others. On the nameless hill, Luo Hong was chatting with Han Lao Mo who had just come out of retreat. Suddenly, after hearing a loud noise, the 2 of them couldn't help but look up at the same time. I saw a wave of air like a tsunami of destruction, with terrifying power. All the peaks and rocks along the way were instantly crushed to the ground, and countless loess and boulders were swept into it, sweeping towards the 2. Not good. Zealing, junior sister Song, come to me quickly. Harley felt something was wrong, and immediately shouted to the 2 who had just come out of the secret room. Seeing the shocking power of the white airwave, the 2 girls were horrified, and they did not dare to delay, and fled behind Hanli. Luo Hong watched and laughed, but it did not prevent Han Lao Mo from saving the beauty. In a moment, the white airwave had surged 100 feet away. At this time, Han Lao Mo offered a blue giant shield, and then spurted out a mouthful of ice flame from his mouth. With a dazzling blue light flashing, a 50 or 60 foot high iceberg appeared out of thin air in the dense cold air, blocking the 3 people. Although Han Li's method was amazing, Zealing and the 2 girls were still a little worried, and each offered a protective magic weapon to seek peace of mind. Among the 4 people, only Luo Hong did not move, as if she wanted to resist the airwave with her body. Just as they had put their protective measures in place, the wind wave hit them. At this moment, the entire sky suddenly darkened, and then there was a sound of the sky collapsing, and the earth cracking all around. The iceberg in front of Hanli shook violently, and countless huge rocks and earth smashed on it, making sharp and huge scraping sounds, as if it was about to collapse. In comparison, Luo Hong seemed much calmer. He was seen hanging in the air with his hands behind his back, without using any magic weapon, but he could make the airwaves and earth and rocks that attacked him pass around him. In the face of such a natural disaster, even his hair did not flutter. After a full cup of tea, the wind wave finally blew past the 4 people, rumbling behind them until it disappeared. What on earth happened over there? It actually created such an amazing phenomenon. Brother Han, Brother Luo, should we go over and take a look? Zealing turned her head back with lingering fear and said with an unsightly expression. Since the purpose of our trip has been achieved, it is better not to cause any trouble. After all, whether the strange phenomenon just now was man-made or naturally generated, it must be extremely troublesome. After Hanli estimated the position below, he knew that the source of the airwave was exactly the place marked on the map. He immediately felt something was wrong, and prepared to run away. Is this like running away? I won't agree. Han Leo Mo can't miss the opportunity of Ling Meo Garden, otherwise the time for him to advance to the middle stage of the nascent soul will be greatly delayed, thus affecting the subsequent cause and effect. Therefore, after Luo Hong's mind turned, he suddenly said, "Junior brother Han, we have guests." Hanli was stunned when he heard the words, and then he extended his spiritual sense in the direction of Luo Hong's sight, and soon sensed two escape lights. Wana's senior sister, and a bull nose from Kingsu sect? Why are they so embarrassed? After muttering to himself, Hanli used his spiritual sense to sweep behind the two people, and immediately saw a group of black fog, and the figure wrapped in it was Nan Longhao. Brother Luo, Nan Longhao looks wrong. More than wrong, this guy has been possessed. Luo Hong sneered, and turned to Han Leo Mo and said, Yanyu sect and Kingsu sect have a long history with our Huangfeng Valley, but I can't stand by and watch them die. Junior brother, protect Ziling, and the others here, I'll be back soon. After saying that, Luo Hong turned into a blue light, and went to pick up the two people who were escaping. I remember that when the great elder of Yanyu sect entered the valley, he was accompanied by 3 Yuanying cultivators. How come there are only 2 left now? Could it be? During the border war, Song Mengan met many Yuanying cultivators, especially the female cultivators among them, who left a deep impression on her. So when she entered the valley, she couldn't help but pay more attention. Brother Han, what kind of evil spirit can be so powerful after possessing a body? Brother Luo will be okay, right? Normal cultivators will become weak after possessing a body, unlike Nan Longhao, who chased other Yuanying cultivators right after possessing a body. Therefore, Ziling determined that the existence of the Nan Longhao who possessed the body must be not simple, and it is very likely that it is an ancient evil spirit that has been wandering in the Falling Demon Valley. After being told by Ziling, Han Li could not help but recall some not so wonderful experiences. Looking at the extremely strong demonic energy on Nan Longhao, he basically guessed the general situation. So, after hesitating for a moment, he took out a formation plate and threw it to Ziling, saying, "You guys go find a place to hide. Han is going to help senior brother Luo." Just as Hanli was about to make a move, Luo Hong had already escaped to dozens of feet away from Shizonkin and the other two. The two had already noticed Luo Hong's existence, and while they took the initiative to fly towards him, Wu Yaozi also shouted, "Fellow Daoist Luo, fellow Daoist Nan Long has been possessed by an evil spirit, and has now become a monster that eats Yuanying alive. Please help kill him." Hearing this, Nan Longhao turned his eyes and stared at Luo Hong who came to help. He frowned and thought for a while, and suddenly laughed out loud. His laughter was so unbridled and eerie that it spread all over the place. "Interesting. You are such a fearful creature that this body is so afraid of you. You must be a delicious tonic." Chapter 510. First battle with demonic soul. As soon as the words fell, a black light flashed on the body of Nan Longhao, and his figure suddenly disappeared. The two people in front of them who had sensed something immediately changed their faces and tried their best to infuse magic power into the protective magic weapon. For a moment, 2 bright light balls appeared in the air. The next moment, accompanied by a loud boom, the treasure mirror used by Shizonkin for protection was hit hard by a ghost hand. The light shield transformed by the treasure mirror exploded immediately, and Shizonkin groaned and flew backwards more than 10 feet. Just as Nan Longhao was about to pull out a string of after images and close up, to make up for the blow, a golden stream of light whistled and shot from the side. Sensing the amazing spiritual energy emitted by the Vajra circle, Nan Longhao immediately withdrew his hands to defend himself, and his arms were placed in front of his forehead. Because of the magic energy filling his body, his flesh arms had long become difficult to be injured by magic weapons. As long as he resisted the next blow now, he could turn the tables and destroy the opponent's magic weapon. However, when the diamond ring really hit his arms, Nan Long Hao realized that this treasure itself was only unusually hard and not difficult to deal with, but the huge power it carried was far beyond his expectations. The high-speed rotating diamond ring rubbed a string of sparks on the arms of Nan Long Hao and slowly pressed his arms and hit his forehead. After gritting his teeth to support for a moment, Nan Long Hao gradually felt exhausted, and suddenly his body dispersed and turned into a ball of black mist, allowing the diamond ring to pass directly through it. The next moment, the black mist condensed in the middle again and gathered his body again. At this time, the diamond ring whistled and drew an arc and smashed towards him again. Nan Long Hao, who had suffered a loss once, did not choose to resist again, but his chest and abdomen bulged and spit out a ball of blood-colored demonic flames. This demon is called Blood Flame, most likely from his magic power of demonic flames. Luo Hong knew that this flame was powerful and immediately moved his mind and drove the diamond ring to change direction suddenly, bypassing the blood flame and flying back to his hand. HMPH. The demon soul was filled with hatred for not being able to destroy Luo Hong's magic weapon. Seeing that the two people who were chasing him had already hidden behind each other, his eyes became even colder. I underestimated you. I didn't expect that there are still body cultivators with your level of cultivation in the human world today. You are surrounded by demonic energy, and you dare to eat Yuanying alive. You must be an ancient demon that ravaged the human world in ancient times. People like you are the natural enemies of cultivators like me. Luo will never recognize you as the boss. Luo Hong spoke righteously on the surface, but in fact he was secretly blaming himself. I just used too much force. I have to hold back. Don't scare away Han Leomo's opportunity. Knowing my identity, you still dare to stop me. You are really arrogant. Today, I will swallow your Yuanying. The demon soul shouted fiercely. Haha, although I don't like this bull nose, I will never let you swallow another Yuanying. Strangely, Luo Hong directly ignored the murderous demon soul on the opposite side and suddenly turned his head to look at Wu Yaozi. As he spoke, he used the Rakshasa hand to take Wu Yaozi away from the spot. Wu Yaozi was stunned for a moment, and then he immediately reacted, looking solemnly at the place where he was originally floating. I saw a dark figure floating there, staring at them coldly. It turned out to be the Nan Long Hao who was possessed by the body, and he didn't know when he appeared there. Suddenly, Wu Yaozi and Shi Zhanqin were terrified, and the former thanked Luo Hong again and again. It turned out that the demon soul had used the clone magic when he was shouting. He left the clone in the place and deliberately pretended to be furious and wanted to kill Luo Hong. In fact, the main body had already used the hidden magic and sneaked to the vicinity of Wu Yaozi. If Luo Hong had not come to his rescue in time, Wu Yaozi would have been killed by him, and his nascent soul would have been swallowed by him. The reason why the demon soul wanted to make a feint to the east and attack the west was that after the attack just now, he realized that Luo Hong was not easy to deal with, and there was another unexpected change on the demon body side. With his understanding of his own skills, he had already guessed what happened. So for the demon soul, the top priority now is to devour a large number of nascent souls and accumulate strength to deal with the next battle with the soul division. But he never expected that Luo Hong could see through his concealment technique. If he didn't deal with the other party, he would have no chance of swallowing the nascent soul again. Since you are so eager to die, I will send you off. The demon soul grinned, his face showing a ferocious look, and before he finished speaking, his body shook, leaving a residual image and disappearing from the spot. Fortunately, although this magic escape technique was sophisticated, it could not escape Luo Hong's spiritual sense detection. While Shi Zhanqin and Wu Yaozi were alert and aimlessly on guard, he had already locked onto the position of the demon. Suddenly, Luo Hong rubbed his hands together, and a spiritual fire snake made of black crow flames shot out like an arrow from a bow, heading straight for an empty space. With a bang, the demon soul was forcibly interrupted from escaping. After appearing in a slightly embarrassed state, he immediately drove the demon energy in an attempt to extinguish the black crow flames that had been contaminated. However, his action was like pouring kerosene on the flames, and the black crow flames that were originally the size of a bean suddenly expanded to the size of a fist. In great shock, the demon soul hurriedly summoned the blood flames to suppress it, which stopped the spread of the fire. Luo Hong still wanted to hand the demon soul over to Han Lao to deal with, and of course he didn't want to burn him to death. Seeing that he blocked the black crow flames, he wanted to recall him. As a result, as soon as the black and red fireball left the body, the demon soul drove the blood flames to wrap it up and prevent it from returning. Good fellow, you dare to set your sights on my spiritual flame. Luo Hong's face flashed with anger, and he was about to let him taste the power of the Rakshasa hand. Just as he was about to stretch out his right palm, a golden lightning struck from behind, hitting the blood flame driven by the demon soul. When the golden lightning and the blood flame touched, they melted away at the same time like water and fire. This scene immediately shocked the demon soul and Han Lao who came to help. The evil repelling divine thunder can't completely restrain this blood-colored demon flame. I'm afraid I can't win this time with this thunder alone. Han Li's eyes condensed, and he muttered to himself in his heart. The evil repelling divine thunder. Hateful. If I were in my prime, how could I be injured by this thunder? The blood flame contained part of the essence of the demon soul, and now part of it was annihilated, and his aura immediately dropped a little. This is equivalent to eating half of the nascent soul for nothing, and he couldn't help but say angrily, "Great fellow Daoist Han is here too. Now we can join forces and kill this demon." Wu Aozi was overjoyed when he saw Han Li. Luo Hong alone was able to resist this demon, and now with Han Li, victory is a foregone conclusion. Although Shizankin said nothing, she obviously had the same idea. Her face turned stern, and she suddenly bit her tongue and spit out a large mouthful of blood at the Ningguang treasure mirror. Then, she pinched her hands together, and a 5-colored beam of light shot out from the mirror and covered the demon soul. Seeing this divine light, the demon soul did not dare to ignore it as before, and immediately used his strange escape technique to avoid it. Chapter 511. Two demons gather. Han Li saw that his evil repelling divine thunder did not work, and although he also felt that this demon was very difficult to deal with, he thought the same as Shizankin and the others at this time, believing that under the siege of the four of them, the victory was already decided. Only Luo Hong, who had been deliberately holding back, did not relax at all, because he knew that Mohan had only used his demonized body to fight the enemy, except for the blood flame, and had not used the ancient magic skills and various secret techniques he had practiced. Mohan did this naturally, to take out their nascent souls with the least consumption. Now that he saw that things were impossible, he was bound to use real means. As expected, after seeing the four people set up their formation, Mohan did not attack immediately, but snorted and sneered. "I didn't expect that each of you has great magical powers. It seems that it is unlikely to use ordinary means to take out your nascent soul. In this case, I will give up this body and play with you." After saying that, Mohan took a deep breath, and the dark magic energy suddenly emerged from his body, and at the same time, a burst of bone joints shifted in his body. After a breath, his figure suddenly rose several feet, and bulges appeared on the back of his neck and shoulders, as if something was about to jump out of his body. Seeing this scene, the four people knew that the other party was going to perform some powerful magic skills, and immediately showed their magical powers to try to interrupt Mohan's casting. Shizankin pointed his sword at the Ningguang treasure mirror, and immediately the mirror aimed at Mohan and shot out a colorful beam of light. Unfortunately, after Demon Soul used his magic, he was no longer afraid of the magical power of the condensing light treasure mirror. As soon as the colorful light column touched the demonic energy around him, it seemed to be swallowed up and disappeared immediately. Shizankin was also very depressed. He simply put away the mirror and sacrificed a jade ruai to attack the enemy. Wu Aozi sacrificed a white and gold pure yang treasure wheel at this time and ordered it to cut straight at Demon Soul's neck. In addition, there were crackling golden electric nets and a giant hand with evil spirits rising to the sky, attacking Demon Soul from the left and right. Demon Soul was unwilling to take the evil repelling divine thunder head on. With a shake of black energy, his body shot backwards in an instant. The speed of his escape technique was so fast that even the magic weapons and magical powers of the three people could not catch up with him for a while. At this time, Han Li and the other two were shocked to find that if Nan Long Hao wanted to escape, they could not stop him at all. Of course, this was when Luo Hong let him go and did not sacrifice the heavenly demon flag. Fortunately, I didn't show my 5-element great escape in front of Han Lao Mo before, otherwise I wouldn't be able to continue the performance. Luo Hong secretly complained, but on the surface, he kept driving the Rakshasa hand with a serious face. Brother Luo, this is not a solution. Junior brother has a sword formation, which may be able to kill this demon. Please help delay it for a while. Harley saw the current dilemma and was about to use his most powerful method, the Dajeng sword formation. Junior brother, just cast the spell. I will not let this demon interfere with you. Luo Hong responded to Hanli with a serious expression, but he was very happy in his heart. As long as the demon soul sees that Han Lao Mo has a large number of golden thunder bamboo magic weapons, his subsequent opportunities will most likely come true. Just as Hanli Swish Swish sacrificed 36 green bamboo cloud swords, the demon soul finally completed the spell and transformed into a two-headed and four-armed monster. There were 2 ferocious heads, one large and one small, on his neck, and 4 devil arms growing longer than his knees on his shoulders. The face of the head in front had purple scales, and a white horn several inches long grew on his forehead, retaining only a little bit of the appearance of Nanlang Hao. The other head, which was squeezed out abruptly and was slightly smaller, looked completely like a demon. Although it also had horns on its forehead and scales on its cheeks, its black lips opened and closed, and a long tongue covered with dark purple and flesh thorns spit out like a poisonous snake. There was no trace of human emotion in its silver eyes, which were so cold that it made people feel cold. Sensing the breath emitted by the demon soul at this time, Luo Hong couldn't help but become serious. He suddenly put his right palm together into a fist and snorted at the demon. HMPH. I'm not afraid of you now. After the change, the demon soul seemed to be very confident in its own strength. It raised its forearms, and purple light flashed on the forearms, and it was about to take the Rakshasa's giant fist. The next moment, the forearms of the demon soul collided with the giant fist of the Rakshasa. With a loud bang, a circle of airwaves suddenly exploded, and the Xiang treasure wheel that flew nearby was bounced away 7 or 8 feet. As expected of an ancient demon, he really has a lot of strength. I haven't felt so happy for a long time. Since Luo Hong cultivated the 2nd level of the Great 5-element Tang Shengju, he has never encountered a situation where he needs to punch with all his strength. At that moment, he felt extremely happy. If it weren't for his reason, he really wanted to fight with the demon soul. Well, how is it possible? A mere human race can actually suppress me in physical strength. In the joy, Luo Hong no longer suppressed his strength. The demon soul felt that he was holding a 1,000-foot mountain at this moment. His forearms trembled slightly, and his face was extremely ferocious. He must be using this magic weapon. Destroy it, and I can win. With the thought, blood-colored demon flames ignited on the forearms of the demon soul. In an instant, blood flames spread over the giant Luosha fist. However, before Mohan could grin, he found that his magic flames could not do anything to the opponent's magic weapon. At this time, Wu Ao's pure yang wheel attacked again, flying towards Mohan's neck from behind. You won't dare to mess up the situation? After Mohan shouted angrily, his demon head suddenly stretched out, opened his mouth and bit the pure yang wheel in his mouth, unable to move. Just as Wu Aozi was shocked by the strength of Mohan's demon body, a stream of black magic liquid suddenly spurted out of the demon head's mouth, pouring all over the pure yang wheel. Suddenly, Wu Aozi lost his mental connection with the pure yang wheel. It was obvious that this treasure was contaminated and taken away by Mohan. At the same time, the white horn on the forehead of Mohan's head suddenly shone brightly, as if he had performed some secret technique that could temporarily bless his strength. His forearms gradually supported the giant Luosha fist. Seeing this, Luo Hong was not angry but happy, and was about to try the effect of adding the power of heaven and earth. But at this moment, a strange roar like thunder suddenly came from a distance. The roar was so loud, like thunder rolling, and waves crashing on the shore, and it sounded like the owner of this voice was extremely angry, and the murderous aura was overwhelming, which made people feel terrified. Han Li and others were just stunned when they heard the sound, but the two heads of the demon soul changed their faces at the same time, and then suddenly retracted some of the strength of the forearms, and turned into a black light with the power of their Rakshasa, a giant fist, and flew away in the direction of the roar. In addition, the demon soul also uttered a long and meaningless howl, as if responding to the roar. Han Li's Dajeng sword formation was less than half completed at this time, so he couldn't stop it. In addition, Luo Hong deliberately let it go, and the four people could only watch the demon soul flee. Chapter 512, Fighting the Demonic Body Alone. No way. Is there another monster like this in the Fallen Demon Valley? Looking at the direction where Nan Lang Hao was going away, Wu Yao's face turned pale, and he suddenly sighed. Thank you very much for saving my life, Brother Luo. I will never forget my gratitude. Shi Zhanqin said with some shame. After all, the other party was the enemy who caused her Yan'yu sect to lose an nascent soul cultivator. Sect Master Shi, you don't have to be polite. I don't think my senior sister wants the Yan'yu sect to be cut off from inheritance. Now that the crisis is temporarily resolved, it's better for you two to leave the valley as soon as possible. Luo Hong didn't have a good impression of either Shi Zhanqin or Wu Yaozi. After putting away the magic weapon, she said lightly, fellow Daoist, Luo is right. That monster is very powerful. I'm afraid only a cultivator in the late nascent soul stage can rival it. I and Sect Master Shi are injured and have little mana left. We really shouldn't stay here for long. Wu Yaozi agreed with Luo Hong's words. He wanted to say goodbye immediately and didn't want to stay in the valley any longer. Brother Luo, are we going to ignore that monster now? Hearing Luo Hong persuade Wu Yaozi and the other two to leave, Han Li thought he also wanted to leave and couldn't help but said in surprise, after all, if left alone, when the monster devours more nascent souls and becomes stronger, it will be even more difficult to deal with. I didn't say I was leaving. If I'm right, that strange roar came from the demon soul that took over the body of Nan Lang Hao. I'm afraid its strength is 3 points stronger than the demon soul. So, there will be a fierce battle next. Zealing and the others are too weak to stay in the valley. It's inevitable that they will be affected. Shi Zhangsu and the others are no longer able to fight, so it's a good opportunity to take Zealing and the others out of the valley. After explaining to Han Lao Mo, Luo Hong turned to Shi Zhanqin and the others and said, fellow Daoists, are you willing to do me a small favor? Since they could repay the life-saving grace and leave this ghost place, the two of them naturally agreed and fled in the opposite direction of the roar. Brother Luo is still thoughtful. This way, I don't have to worry about the future. Han Li was very satisfied with Luo Hong's arrangement and nodded slightly. As soon as he finished speaking, the earth-shaking roar came again, which immediately attracted the attention of the two. In the distance, a flash of light appeared in the sky, and a large area of black and purple light appeared, flickering and covering half of the sky. Below the light, a green cloud that Luo Hong was very familiar with rolled and spread, and a loud rumbling sound was heard when it collided with the light. Not surprisingly, the black and purple light revealed a monstrous demonic energy. This demonic energy was exactly the same as the aura that Nan Lang Hao had just released. It was just that the amount was far greater, and people felt suffocated by the demonic energy just by sensing it. It seems that Alliance leader Wei has already fought with another monster. Let's go to help. The green cloud was Wei Wu's famous magical power, the poison of the belly corpse. Luo Hong recognized it at a glance, so he turned into a blue light and flew away. Han Li followed closely, but halfway, he saw another great elder of Luo sect, his senior brother Cheng, flying towards the place where the fight was taking place with Shanjing Zenran and a strange nascent soul cultivator. Seeing their slightly excited expressions, it seemed that they thought the movement just now was caused by the appearance of a rare treasure, and they were rushing to fight for it. Senior brother Luo, Senior brother Cheng was quite caring towards Han Li, and he certainly couldn't watch him jump into the fire pit at the moment, so he hesitated for a moment and spoke. Junior brother Han, go ahead, I can hold on for a while. Without Han Lao Mo saying anything, Luo Hong knew what he was going to say, and immediately said it proudly. The situation was urgent, so Han Li didn't say much, and immediately turned his escape light, and went towards senior brother Cheng and the other two. As soon as Han Lao Mo left, Luo Hong felt much more relaxed and suddenly raised his escape light, and soon he was hundreds of feet away from Wei Wuya. After approaching, Luo Hong discovered that the dark purple light that covered half of the sky was actually formed by countless tentacles of dark demonic energy dancing wildly outside in the purple-red demonic light. And in the purple demonic light was an ancient demon with a single horn on its forehead, a hideous face, and a look very similar to the demon soul, but its body was the same as that of an ordinary person, with crystal clear skin, like a beautiful jade. At this time, the ancient demon had no expression on his face, his eyes were slightly closed, and he looked like he had not woken up yet. But from time to time, thunderous roars came from his belly, which made him look like he was not sleeping, but furious. Luo Hong knew that this was because the soul of the ancient blood flame demon had not been completely refined in his body, and the ancient monks had left a restriction. Therefore, when this demon waved his arms and threw out balls of dark magic fire, his movements would appear stiff and unusually slow. Once these seemingly inconspicuous black fireballs fell into the green poisonous cloud below, the power of the explosion would surely set off a black fire wave more than 10 feet wide. In an instant, Wei Wuya's green poisonous cloud was blown to pieces. Fortunately, Wei Wuya's cultivation in the late nascent soul stage was solid. After the green cloud rolled and counterattacked, the black magic fire was completely extinguished and restored to its original appearance. Then, a large area of poisonous fog condensed into 7 or 8 green giant pythons as thick as water tanks, rushing into the magic energy, trying to bite the ancient demon in the purple magic light. The collision of the two forces created what Luo Hong had just heard. Fellow Daoist Luo, you came at the right time. This demon is an ancient demon imprisoned in the Falling Demon Valley by the ancient cultivators. Sect Master Wang accidentally released it. Please join hands with fellow Daoist Luo and ready to kill this demon here. Otherwise, once his magic power is fully restored, we will all die in his hands. After Wei Wuya sensed Luo Hong's manner, he immediately transmitted his voice in ecstasy. Although he had used up all his magical powers and survived the explosion of the space crack just now, he was still seriously injured and was almost at the end of his strength. Compared with the demon soul, the ancient demon body in front of him was much stronger. Luo Hong had already put away his extra thoughts and said solemnly, Alliance Master Wei, go to the side to heal your wounds, and I will go to hold this demon first. After that, Luo Hong pinched his hands together, and red crystal armor condensed in his body. It was the magical power that could be performed after practicing the great 5-element Tang Shengju to the 2nd level, Chen transformation. With the cover of this magical power, Luo Hong released all his breath, as if he had reached the middle stage of the nascent soul through secret techniques. After wearing the red crystal armor, Luo Hong stepped on a point and stepped out a circle of air waves, rushing straight into the sky. Wait a minute, fellow Daoist Luo, this demon is very powerful, you can't deal with it alone. Wei Wuya never expected Luo Hong to be so brave, attacking the ancient demon that suppressed him so much, and shouted anxiously. After all, if Luo Hong got into trouble, he would soon be in trouble. However, the next scene shocked him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 513, Fighting Against the Twin Demons. Compared to the white bad transformation, which simply increases strength and defense, the crystal armor condensed by the red swan transformation contains the ultimate power of fire, which can not only increase the power of Luo Hong's fire magic, but also make his realm of fire escape rise to a higher level. Therefore, when the black magic fire of the ancient demon in human form attacked, Luo Hong was able to pass through it without any injury. The failure of the magic fire made the ancient demon in human form stunned. He had never encountered such a situation in his memory. In a hurry, he roared in his stomach, and the countless demon tentacles wandering around him suddenly changed and turned into black evil pythons, biting towards Luo Hong. However, as long as these black evil pythons approached Luo Hong within 3 feet, they would be pulled by an invisible force and deflected in direction and even the corner of Luo Hong's clothes could not be touched. After easily breaking through the blockade of the evil pythons with the power of heaven and earth, Luo Hong had already rushed to the ancient demon in human form 100 feet away. At this time, the demon's belly rang with low incantations, and it was obvious that it was going to use some means. As a result, Luo Hong's body flashed with red spiritual light, and his figure instantly appeared in front of the ancient demon in human form. The next moment, Luo Hong's right fist, which was covered with a layer of black light, was fiercely imprinted on the Shenman acupoint of the ancient demon in human form. Although Luo Hong was not sure whether the acupoints of the ancient demon were different from those of the human race, since he was in human form at this time, it was worth a try. Not to mention, the body of the ancient demon in human form was strong. After Luo Hong's punch, it only left a dent. However, after taking this punch, the body of the ancient demon in human form was obviously stiff, and it was not known whether it was related to the acupoints being hit. Seeing this scene, Luo Hong was not polite immediately. When he retracted his fist, he urged the secret technique he learned from the demon head, and sucked back the ancient demon in human form that was about to fly backwards. Then, Luo Hong punched several times in succession, hitting the 5 major acupoints of the tail of the worm, the Purple Palace, the Tan's Hong, the Jade Hall, and the Cheyenne II. When the 6 forces that had invaded the human body ancient demon gathered in the Sea of Qi, Luo Hong added the power of heaven and earth to his right arm, and then smashed it down with a mighty force. After this blow, the human body ancient demon's stiff face finally showed a look of pain, and after coughing up a mouthful of purple blood, his body fell to the ground like a meteor. At this time, Luo Hong did not pursue, but instead used the Rakshasa hand, and punched at the empty space above his head. Just as Wei Wu'er below was puzzled, a 2-headed and 4-armed ancient demon appeared out of thin air, and dodged Luo Hong's attack with a flick of his body. There is actually another ancient demon, Luo Dao. Retreat first. Feeling the same aura on the demon soul as the human body ancient demon, Wei Wu'er's face changed drastically, and he shouted hurriedly. In the sky, Luo Hong and the demon soul looked at each other, and after the previous blow, the two did not fight again. Suddenly, the demon soul said solemnly, "I didn't expect that you still had some strength left when fighting with me just now. You, a human, are really brave. Haha, same here. I don't believe that the dignified demon lord only has this little trick." Under the red crystal mask, Luo Hong stared at the demon soul with a vigilant face. He knew that, if the other party didn't care about the consumption of the original power, the strength he exerted would be extremely terrifying. As soon as the voice fell, a terrifying roar of extreme anger came from below, and then after a tremor of the earth and mountains, a mountain of 100 feet rushed straight towards Luo Hong. It turned out that the ancient demon in human form smashed through a mountain when it fell. At this time, in order to escape, it lifted the entire mountain and threw it towards Luo Hong to vent its anger. This kind of brainless attack was naturally useless. Luo Hong just used the earth escape technique to avoid the attack. When he looked forward again, there was no trace of the demon soul in front of him. After sweeping his divine sense, Luo Hong discovered that the demon soul had already joined the ancient demon in human form in midair. However, the ancient demon in human form had changed greatly at this time. His original human body had turned into a demon body 2 meters long, covered with purple scales, and with black spikes on the joints. If it weren't for the purple blood still on the corner of his mouth and the deep fist mark on his abdomen, he looked like he had never suffered the heavy blow from Luo Hong. Looking at your eyes, I think you have already had your own consciousness. It should be impossible for you to merge with me at this time. It was a mistake to let you go out to take over the body of that human cultivator. Although the aura was a big difference, the demon soul was not afraid when it flew beside the huge ancient demon. Humph. You and I are originally one. It is not uncommon for the split soul to devour the main soul in the holy realm. You should have realized this when you let me out that year. Why say more now? The huge ancient demon raised his arm, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said without hiding his plot. Yes, I knew that we would have a fight after we escaped, but I never expected that you would enter the demon body to perform the disintegration and transformation method in order to increase your chances of winning. Do you know that doing so will cause the main body to lose at least 70% of its cultivation? The faces on the two heads of the demon soul turned cold at the same time and asked fiercely, how can the demon body escape without this method? If I hadn't seized the main body first, the restrictions you activated at this moment would have wiped out my consciousness. The huge ancient demon narrowed his eyes and said in an extremely unfriendly tone. It turned out that when the two demons were talking, the demon soul secretly activated the restrictions left in the split soul body in the past, trying to make up for the loss, but it obviously did not have the effect he wanted. It was also because of this backhand that the demon soul dared to face the split soul directly when there was an obvious gap in cultivation. According to the current situation, it is quite hard to say who will win if he fights with the split soul. HMPH, we'll talk about who we devour later. The most urgent thing is to kill these nascent soul cultivators around. According to the memory of this body that I have taken over, there are dozens of nascent soul cultivators in the valley at this time. If they join hands, plus that weird human race, we are afraid we'll be in trouble. The demon soul said, signaling Luo Hong with his eyes. The huge ancient demon looked up and saw Luo Hong standing in the air and staring at them, and he couldn't help but get angry. It was a great shame for him to let a mere human race hurt his demon body, so he shouted angrily, okay, then after we deal with these human cultivators in the valley, you and I will find a secluded place to decide the outcome. However, this person must be left to me. No problem, then I will go and kill the few over there. The demon soul turned his two heads at the same time, staring at Han Li, who had already met up with the old man surnamed Cheng, and laughed sinisterly in his heart. The reason why he wanted to make this happen was because he had taken a fancy to Han Li's golden thunder bamboo magic weapon. Although the evil repelling divine thunder is the nemesis of all the magic arts in the world, the demon soul also has secret techniques that can be used indirectly. As long as he kills Han Li and seizes his golden thunder bamboo magic weapon, he will have a great advantage in the future when fighting with the soul. Chapter 514, Counterattack. The two demons were not the type to drag their feet. After a brief discussion, they each rushed towards their opponents. In the sky, Luo Hong heard the conversation between the two demons clearly. This situation was exactly what he was happy to see. Next, as long as we wait for the right opportunity, we can get the biggest reward of this trip. Under the red crystal mask, Luo Hong curled his lips and went towards the huge ancient demon without showing any weakness. It was not known whether it was Luo Hong's heavy blow or the demon's own refinement, but at this time, the huge ancient demon's movements were no longer as stiff as before, and were basically close to normal. Obviously, the restrictions left by the ancient monks in his body had been refined by him. After the two entered a distance of 100 feet, the purple escape light of the huge ancient demon suddenly flashed and then disappeared. Luo Hong felt something in his heart and immediately used the teleportation magic to disappear on the spot. The next moment, the giant ancient demon appeared behind Luo Hong's position, and its two thick demon arms came together without thinking, intending to slap Luo Hong to death. However, Luo Hong had teleported away one step ahead, so the demon hit nothing, and created a circle of amazing airwaves. Just as the giant ancient demon was about to lock Luo Hong's position again, he suddenly felt something in his heart and quickly raised his arms and placed them on his head. With a loud bang, Luo Hong's right leg chopped on the giant ancient demon's arms like a sharp axe. Obviously, if the giant ancient demon had not reacted in time, Luo Hong's kick would have hit his head. It turned out that after Luo Hong realized that the giant ancient demon had a powerful escape technique with a speed almost equal to teleportation within a short distance, he realized that he must not let the other party seize the initiative. After all, Luo Hong had fought with an 8th level thunder dragon with thunder escape technique. At that time, he was able to suppress the other party because he seized the initiative. Now, of course, he couldn't let the same thing happen to him. So after the giant ancient demon disappeared, Luo Hong teleported directly to the back and above his original position, and then raised his leg to chop down without thinking. In Wei Wu's eyes, the giant ancient demon was just coming up stupidly and taking Luo Hong's attack. You, a human, actually have such experience in fighting. I underestimated you, but my current strength is far from The giant ancient demon had the time to speak when competing with Luo Hong. Obviously, his demon body was not inferior to Luo Hong. However, before the giant ancient demon finished speaking, Luo Hong added the power of heaven and earth to his right leg. Suddenly, the giant ancient demon felt like there was a huge mountain on his arms, and immediately felt that he could not support it and retreated. At this point, no matter how unbelievable the giant ancient demon was, he had to admit that he was weaker than Luo Hong in the physical competition. But as an ancient demon, he has more than just a strong demon body. The magic light flashed all over his body, and the whole sky suddenly darkened. The purple magic light suddenly spread in all directions, and the nearby sky was dyed into a weird color in an instant. The magic curtain covered the sky, covering more than dozens of miles, and the momentum was extremely shocking. Wei Wu'er had just taken the elixir to restore his vitality. Seeing this scene, he hurriedly offered a small red scale shield to protect himself. However, after being enveloped by the purple magic light, Wei Wu'er did not feel anything unusual, and he couldn't help but frowned. After all, no one would believe that the ancient demon would make such a big fuss and would be doing useless work. After a while, Wei Wu'er felt something was wrong. He found that the mana he had just recovered had actually lost a little. It turned out that this purple magic curtain could absorb the mana of immortal cultivators. On the other side, Luo Hong noticed the effect of the magic light earlier than Wei Wu'er, and had already used the power of heaven and earth to protect his whole body, so that the magic light could not get close to him. A breath later, Han Leomo suddenly heard a thunderbolt. Obviously, he was using the evil repelling divine thunder to fight against the magic light. But the other cultivators did not have the magical powers of the two of them, and could not stop the loss of mana. If this continued for a long time, they would inevitably be defeated without a fight. There is no doubt that this was the method used by the giant ancient demon to deal with the siege of the cultivators. Due to the amazing fighting experience shown by Luo Hong, the giant ancient demon no longer used the tactic of fast fighting, which could not determine the winner in a short period of time. After he let out a strange roar, he waved his arms at a very fast speed, and his palms and 10 fingers twisted and deformed rapidly, forming one strange seal after another. In an instant, a breathtaking black light shot out from the giant ancient demon's body. Then, circles of demonic energy waves burst out from his body, directly blasting away more than a dozen green cloud poisonous pythons that Wei Wu'er had driven to attack when he saw that the situation was not good. After a few breaths, the giant ancient demon opened its mouth and let out a shrill and high-pitched whistle, which shook the nearby sky and echoed continuously. After the whistle, the airwave dissipated instantly, and two shiny black long swords condensed and were tightly grasped in its claws. The blades of the two black blades were extremely blurry, and they kept making kai-kai sounds of breaking through the air. Just looking at them directly made Luo Hong feel a sharp pain in his brow. After the black blade was in hand, the huge ancient demon lowered his head slightly, looked at Luo Hong with a ferocious face, and then swung the knife to cut in the air. Suddenly, two crescent-shaped blade beams shot out crosswise and turned into a huge black cross in the shrill sound, slashing straight towards Luo Hong. Compared with the previous means, the huge ancient demon's attack seemed ordinary, but Luo Hong's hair stood on end at this moment, and he didn't dare to take it with his Rakshasa hand. However, it was useless to dodge instantly, because the black cross had locked his breath and he couldn't escape at all. After confirming this, Luo Hong teleported away, turned his palm, and sacrificed his strongest magic weapon at the moment. When the heavenly demon flag appeared, the crazy roar of the demons broke out. In the blink of an eye, the space in front of Luo Hong blurred for a while, and then a space crack was torn out. After the cross-shaped black light rushed into the space crack, Luo Hong changed his spell. The magic sound stopped, and the temporary space crack was quickly closed. The ferocious expression on the face of the huge ancient demon suddenly froze. He had consumed a lot of essence to condense these two black blades, but Luo Hong used such unreasonable means to dissolve them, which was really hard for him to accept. I don't believe you can tear the space all the time. As long as you are hit by my wave-shaking magic blade, I will tear you into pieces. With Luo Hong's cultivation in the nascent soul realm, even if he used the power of magic weapons, it is absolutely impossible to tear the space infinitely to save his life. Thinking of this, the huge ancient demon fled quickly while slashing out black light again, and at the same time, he also performed various magic secrets to try to interfere with Luo Hong. Luo Hong held the heavenly demon flag and waved it continuously, creating the illusion that the treasure was driven by magic power and continuously sent the black blade light out of the domain. Thanks to the unstable space in the demon valley, the energy consumption of the demons in the heavenly demon flag in creating small domain gates was greatly reduced, so they could fight like this for a whole day without any problem. Chapter 515 Reinforcement. In the sky, Luo Hong and the huge ancient demon kept fighting. Sometimes black flames filled the sky, and sometimes the clouds were bright. The two were evenly matched, and it was difficult to tell who would win. Wei Wuya, who was watching from below, was stunned and secretly surprised by the profound power of Luo Hong. Huh? Isn't this Alliance Leader Wei? What happened here? Where did these two monsters come from? A calm voice came from a distance, and a team of green-robed monks in the sky fled hundreds of feet away in a few breaths. Wei Wuya turned his head and looked, and his face was immediately happy. The people who came were the great elder Dongman II of the Yuling sect and his 3 Yuanying early stage monks. Yes, I have the same question. Please help, Alliance Leader Wei. At this time, another team of monks in black robes flew from another direction, led by the elder surnamed Zong of the Ghost Spirit sect. After he found that the Lingsu fruit had been taken by someone first, he sent out his disciples to search for the traces of the monk who did this. As a result, he was hit by a huge air wave, and his disciples suffered heavy losses, and he himself was slightly injured. After suffering such a great loss, the Ghost Spirit sect's Grand Elder was unwilling to return empty-handed, so he hurriedly led the surviving disciples to this place. This matter is a long story. Everyone, join hands with Wei to kill these two demons first, and then listen to Wei's explanation. When Wei Wuya saw that the strong reinforcement had arrived, and his own injuries were almost stable, he felt that the time had come, and wanted to concentrate his strength to kill the 4-armed ancient demon on Han Li's side first. After all, the 3 old men surnamed Cheng were currently in danger, and Han Li was preparing the Great Zheng Sword formation, so he could not take care of them. Wait a minute, if I'm not mistaken, it is Dao Yao Luo and Dao Yao Han who are fighting the demons. Dongman II narrowed his eyes and sneered. That's right. Thanks to the help of these two Taoist friends. Otherwise I'm afraid I can't talk to you now. As soon as the words came out, Wei Wuya realized that something was wrong, and his face sank and said, what does Taoist Dongman mean? Is there still personal grudges at this time? These two demons are of great origin and extremely powerful. If we don't work together to kill them, I'm afraid that you and I will not be able to leave the valley alive today. Aren't Taoist Luo and the others fighting the demons in a lively manner? The situation is not as precarious as Alliance Leader Wei said. Besides, Taoist Luo's Zixio Divine Thunder has not been sacrificed yet, so why should I, Dongman II, worry about him? As soon as the voice fell, Dongman II felt that the humiliation he suffered when entering the valley had been mostly eliminated, and then he turned to the old man surnamed Zhang and said, Elder Zhang, I remember that your sect's sect master Wang and the other two acted together with Alliance Leader Wei, but now that they are nowhere to be seen, shouldn't you clarify this matter first? The old man surnamed Zhang didn't know that it was Luo Hong and his group who picked the Lingsu fruit, and he had no grudge against them before. In addition, Wei Wuya, a late nascent soul cultivator, was willing to take the lead, so he was ready to take action. But after being reminded by Dongman II, he hesitated. There were only 3 nascent soul cultivators in the Ghost Spirit sect. If the 2 from the Wang family got into trouble, the sect would be in trouble in the future. Dongman II, Wei Wuya's eyes widened, and he was furious. The reinforcement that he had waited for so long were unexpectedly here to hinder him. Just as he was about to get angry, he heard the demonic voice rolling in. Even after tens of thousands of years, the human cultivators are still the same. They can never be united at any time. Bring your nascent souls here. The huge ancient demon was unable to defeat Luo Hong for a long time, and its essence continued to be depleted. Its momentum was no longer as strong as before. Seeing that several more nascent soul cultivators had arrived, He fought fiercely with Luo Hong and quickly fled towards Dongman 2 and others, wanting to swallow a few nascent souls first to make up for the loss of his own essence. Luo Hong was happy to have a moment to breathe and quickly took out the elixir given by Han Lao Mo and swallowed it to restore the lost mana. Seeing that the huge ancient demon had changed its target and rushed towards them, Wei Wuer's face changed drastically and he pinched his hands to make the poisonous cloud around him 3 points thicker. At the same time, he opened his mouth and spit out a black and white flying sword. This sword is the inherited treasure of his Huai sect, Yin Yang Ruai sword. As soon as it was unsheathed, it rippled with circles of black and white precious light. However, the huge ancient demon did not come for him this time. After throwing 2 balls of black magic flames into the green cloud, he was surrounded by purple magic light, and his figure came to a green-robed cultivator of the Yuling sect in an instant. This person was shocked and quickly sacrificed his most powerful protective magic weapon. Suddenly, a huge bone armor shield shot out and turned into a layer of pale light curtain that wrapped him. Seeing that the magic weapon took effect in time, the green-robed monk suddenly felt relieved. When he looked up again, he could not see the terrifying face of the huge ancient demon. The green-robed monk was stunned. Before he could understand what was going on, a sharp sound of breaking through the air came from above his head. A black light flashed, and the black knife chopped down like lightning. In front of the green-robed monk's dull face, the pale light shield and his body were split in half. The whole process was extremely smooth. The green-robed monk's extremely confident self-defense method was like paper in front of the black blade, and could not hinder the black blade at all. The green-robed monk's body was split into 2, and the next moment, black magic flames rose, and it was burned to ashes in an instant. Only his nascent soul was left, still stupidly staying in the same place, as if he still couldn't believe that his body had been destroyed. However, he could not change the outcome, no matter how long he hesitated. After the black devil flames burned his body, they immediately turned into black rays and condensed into a large net, instantly covering his nascent soul. At this time, the nascent soul was terrified, as if waking up from a dream. He hurriedly pinched his fingers and tried to use the nascent soul teleportation to escape. Unfortunately, after the green light flashed, the nascent soul still appeared in the black fire net. Then, the black fire net suddenly shrank and tightened, wrapping the nascent soul into a ball of fire, and flew straight into the mouth of the huge ancient demon. After swallowing the fireball, the huge ancient demon showed a trace of disgust on his face, and shifted his gaze to Dongman 2 and the old man surnamed Zhang. Obviously, the defective nascent soul cultivator of the 5-element spirit infant could not satisfy the appetite of this demon. After facing the silver devil eyes of the huge ancient demon, Dongman 2 immediately felt like he was falling into an ice cave. Without thinking, he withdrew and retreated violently while offering his proud magic weapon and spirit beast. The old man surnamed Zhang was also in a state of panic. It took only 2 or 3 breaths for this demon to eat his nascent soul alive. The nascent soul cultivators who were so powerful in the outside world were as powerless as children in front of this demon. It was unimaginable that they were killed and eaten at will. Fortunately, he was not as fat as Dongman 2, so he joined forces with Wei Wuer before being intercepted. In the sky, Luo Hong watched coldly as a huge ancient demon below repeatedly forced Dongman 2 into danger, and couldn't help but snorted, "Luo needs your help? How ridiculous." Chapter 516 The time has come. Even though Dongman 2 was an old monster among old monsters, and was well known among the cultivators in the middle stage of the nascent soul, most of his strength lay in the spirit beasts he commanded. When these spirit beasts faced the huge ancient demon, they trembled just by sensing its breath, not to mention how much combat power they could exert. Therefore, after only a few rounds, Dongman 2 was already feeling desperate and commanded a small crystal green sword to slash out more than 10 scorching green sword beams. The huge ancient demon that had just killed a flying tiger spirit beast did not dodge at this moment, but opened its mouth and let out a roar. Suddenly, a purple sound wave that seemed to be real spread out, shattering the sword beams with a hum sound, and even Dongman 2's body protection spirit shield also vibrated violently. At the same time, Dongman 2 suddenly felt several strange noises coming from his body, and his gathered mana suddenly dissipated by more than half, and his body was stunned. Dongman 2, feeling bad, immediately cried for help. Alliance Master Wei. Fellow Daoist Luo. Aren't we going to join forces to fight the enemy? Please save my life. No one can save you. Just come to my belly. HMM. After performing the shaking wave magic skill, the giant ancient demon flashed with purple light and fled behind Dongman 2, releasing the black blade and clawing at his Danshan. But Dongman 2 saw that the situation was not good and had already teleported his nascent soul out of his body, so the giant ancient demon's claw was empty. After the nascent soul left his body, Dongman 2 did not dare to delay anymore and immediately performed the teleportation magic power and fled in the direction of Wei Wuya, shouting for help and panic, which was extremely embarrassing. Wei Wuya knew that the giant ancient demon would be more difficult to deal with after devouring Dongman 2's nascent soul, so even though Dongman 2 had made him unhappy before, he decided to help him at this time. As soon as he moved his mind, dozens of giant pythons sprang out from the green cloud, trying to stop the giant ancient demon's pursuit. At the same time, he pointed his sword at the black and white flying sword in front of him, and a large amount of mana was poured into it. The next moment, the black and white flying swords turned from 1 to 100, gathered into a group, and rushed towards the giant ancient demon. After using two methods in succession, Wei Wuya looked up at Luo Hong, hoping to get his help. But Luo Hong was waving the heavenly demon flag at this moment, with his eyebrows and eyes wide open, as if he was brewing some magical power, and had no intention of saving Dongman 2. Although Wei Wuya was very anxious and confused, he was soon brought back to his senses by the rumbling sound not far away. The green python transformed by the belly corpse poison was not even willing to be contaminated by the giant ancient demon, but its black magic flame was really powerful. After a few fireballs came down, dozens of green pythons were blown apart. The sword group transformed by the yin yang ruai sword followed one after another, and the giant ancient demon casually waved a black light and was about to continue chasing. As a result, the extremely sharp black blade light slashed at the black and white flying swords, but it only made the sword bodies shake violently for a while and could not break them. In shock, the huge ancient demon was covered by the sword group. Without waiting for him to do anything, it suddenly shrank inwards and tightly wrapped around his 2-meter demon body like a willow branch. Dongman 2 saw that Wei Wuya's magic weapon trapped the huge ancient demon, and his face couldn't help showing ecstasy of surviving the disaster. But then he looked up at the sky again, and a trace of extremely resentful look flashed in his eyes. Damn Luo Hong, you actually watched me die without saving me. I will make you Huangfeng Valley pay for your blood debt with blood in the future. The continuous teleportation consumed a lot of essence of Dongman 2's nascent soul. Seeing that he had been rescued, and Wei Wuya was not far away from him, he did not continue to use the teleportation magic. But what puzzled Dongman 2 was that the next moment he saw extremely horrified looks in the eyes of Wei Wuya and the old man surnamed Zhang. Before he could figure it out, a sticky black-purple spike protruded from the center of the Yuanying's eyebrows. It turned out that the giant ancient demon had stretched out its neck 10 feet at the last moment and spit out its long tongue, piercing Dongman 2's Yuanying like a spear. After being hit, Dongman 2's Yuanying immediately lost his sight and was sucked into the mouth of the giant ancient demon by the black-purple tongue. The Yuanying of a mid-Yuanying cultivator entered his stomach, and the aura of the giant ancient demon suddenly increased. Then, the magic light around this demon began to flash at a high frequency, and its body continued to expand, gradually growing to a huge size of 7 or 8 feet. Moreover, like the demon soul, he also grew a second head and another pair of arms, and was covered with a hideous magic armor with a lot of spikes. During his transformation, the Ruai Yin Yang sword could not withstand the corrosion of the magic light, and it sizzled, and was reluctantly taken back by Wei Wuya. At this time, he opened his empty palms, and 2 more black blades condensed out. The sky was filled with the unique sound of black blades breaking through the air, which made people feel extremely uneasy. After the demonic power increased greatly, the huge ancient demon looked at Luo Hong coldly, and then moved his eyes down, and stared at the old man surnamed Zhang. Obviously, he intended to save the hardest bones for the last bite. However, just as Wei Wuya and others were ready, a long roar suddenly came from several miles away. Listening to the sound, it was the demon soul fighting with Han Li. It turned out that, after paying the price of the tragic death of Xianjing Zenren and another Yuanying old man, Han Liumo finally formed the Dajeng sword formation. Immediately, under the slashing of countless golden sword threads, the situation of the demon soul became precarious. No matter which of the split soul and the main soul was destroyed, the blood flame ancient demon would lose a lot of cultivation, which they could not tolerate anyway. Therefore, when the huge ancient demon heard the roar of the demon soul, he immediately abandoned Wei Wu'er and others, and rushed to the battle group on Han Liumo's side with boundless demonic energy. At this moment, Han Liumo had also tried his best to sacrifice the spirit suppressing talisman, and transformed into a red-scaled dragon tail that was 3/4 similar to the ancient demon. Seeing that the huge ancient demon was pressing down, he couldn't wait for the Dajeng sword formation to close and destroy the enemy, and flipped his palm to sacrifice the blood demon sword taken from Shi Zanqian. After paying most of his mana and a lot of blood, Han Liumo pushed the power of this sword to the extreme. Then, he swung the sword and cut out a bloodlight that was 6 or 7 feet long. Under the urging of Han Liumo, the blood demon sword exuded an extremely amazing aura, and even the demon soul couldn't help but show fear. After all, this sword was a top-level magic weapon left behind when the ancient demon invaded the human world, and the magical power it triggered could really threaten the life of the demon soul. But soon, a fierce look flashed on the demon soul's face, and suddenly he raised his hand and cut off one of his arms. The wound was as smooth as a mirror, without a drop of blood, which looked extremely strange. The fallen arm was caught by the other hand of the demon soul, and then he opened his mouth and sprayed several mouthfuls of blood on it. Then, he chanted a few ancient spells. The broken arm immediately twisted and squirmed in the bloodlight into a long sword with white bones and exuding demonic energy. The demon soul held the sword in front of him and poured all his demonic energy into it. When Han Liumo cut out the blood-colored sword light, he also swung his sword to cut out a black sword light with the same extraordinary power. A few miles away, Luo Hong, who saw this scene, immediately had a gleam in his eyes and suddenly made a spell with his hands. At this moment, the time has come. Chapter 517, Shaking Wave Magic. Luo Hong did not intervene in the battle between Han Liumo and Mo Hun, so when the two of them each delivered a shocking blow, everything was the same as the original space-time trajectory. With a boom, or thunderous sound like thunder in dry land came from the intersection of the two sword beams, and surging airwaves continued to spread in all directions. The old man surnamed Cheng was blown back more than 10 feet by the airwave before he could barely stabilize his figure. Han Li relied on his own mana cultivation that far exceeded that of ordinary Yuanying early cultivators. He just shook his body a few times and moved back a little, and then he withstood the airwave. Mo Hun even treated the airwave as nothing and did not move at all, but just stared at the sky with a nervous look. Soon, the scene that Luo Hong expected appeared. As soon as the airwave blew, a strange black and lightless sphere suddenly emerged from the intersection of sword beams and quickly twisted and stretched. In the blink of an eye, a black crack of 4 or 5 feet long and several feet wide was formed at the intersection of the sword beams. Han Li was stunned for a moment and suddenly remembered the scene when Luo Hong collected the invisible space crack. He suddenly understood something in his heart, and his expression changed and said, "Not good. This is a space crack." When Luo Hong collected the invisible space crack, he would always create a space crack of no more than 10 feet. At that time, even if Han Li was far away, he could feel the suction from the new space crack, not to mention the large space crack of 4 or 5 feet long. Just when Han Li realized that something was wrong, a large piece of 5-color rosy light poured out from the crack. Because the distance was too close and the rosy light was too fast, the demon soul and Han Li, who were suspended at the edge of the sword formation, were not on guard at all and were covered by the rosy light. Then, the huge suction force that Han Li expected came as expected. After reacting, Han Li immediately prepared to fly away, but the 5-color rosy light that flowed out of the space crack seemed to be some kind of restriction, which made him unable to gather his mana. Han Li's face turned pale in an instant. He knew that he could not escape the fate of being sucked into the space crack, so he immediately summoned the 36 green bamboo bee cloud swords used to set up the formation around him. The face of the demon soul was also full of fear at this moment. The demon energy in his body could not be mobilized, and he could only watch himself being sucked into the crack at a rapid speed. At this moment, a violent space fluctuation appeared around the demon soul, and the barrier formed actually blocked the colorful rays of light, allowing the demon soul to instantly get rid of the influence of the rays of light. Although he didn't know what was going on, the demon soul performed the escape technique without thinking, and retreated dozens of feet in an instant, changing the fate of being sucked into the space crack. At this time, he looked up, and could no longer see Han Li's figure. The space crack was also closing rapidly. There was a loud swoosh sound around him. It was the green bamboo bee cloud sword that was chasing Han Li into the crack. The golden thunder bamboo magic weapon was right next to him. The demon soul didn't think much, so he reached out and grabbed the two flying swords in his hand. The huge ancient demon who had just arrived saw this and immediately understood the demon soul's plan. He roared and shook his hands towards the last few green bamboo bee cloud swords. Before he could perform the art of capturing objects, a golden stream of light flew from the side and back, making a kai sound of breaking through the air and slashing his outstretched demon arm. Without looking back, the huge ancient demon knew that this was Luo Hong's method, but he was confident that his demon body was strong enough to withstand the opponent's magic weapon, so he ignored it and continued to grab the important golden thunder bamboo magic weapon. However, the next moment, the demon arm he stretched out was cut into two parts from the forearm. The art of capturing objects that was halfway performed was naturally broken. Roar! The huge ancient demon roared loudly. The pain of limb separation was completely within his tolerance. What really made him furious was that he missed the opportunity to seize the golden thunder bamboo magic weapon. In this way, when he fights with the main soul later, he will suffer a great loss and may be swallowed by the main soul. After the roar, the giant ancient demon swung his three arms, and the black light in his hands chopped out three black blade lights, directly hitting the golden streamer that had not yet escaped. Perhaps knowing that he could not dodge, Luo Hong turned his sword finger, and the golden streamer turned around and rushed towards the three black lights. Seeing this, the giant ancient demon couldn't help but sneer. The black blade light contained the magical power of the shaking wave demon art. It was extremely sharp and rarely blocked. The scene of the opponent's magic weapon being shattered was right in front of him. But the next three sharp hisses directly froze the giant ancient demon's sneer. I saw that the golden streamer suddenly made a kai sound of breaking through the air, and the speed of escape was suddenly increased. When it collided with the first black light, it only shattered it with a sharp sound. Then after shattering the other two black lights, the golden streamer flew in front of Luo Hong and turned into a curved golden moon blade, which was the golden moon scimitar. At this time, three obvious gaps appeared on the golden moon scimitar, and it was obvious that it was not without cost to shatter the black light. After the huge ancient demon came back to his senses from the shock, he looked at Luo Hong with a fearful look he had never had before, gritted his teeth, and said in a deep voice, "You have secretly learned my magic skills." He could see clearly that the reason why the opponent's magic weapon could take on the black blade light was because it also contained the magical power of the shaking wave magic skill. What a terrible human race. Leaving him alive is definitely the biggest obstacle for the Saint clan to rule this world. It's just high wave vibration. It's not difficult to imitate. Luo Hong glanced at the three gaps on the golden moon scimitar and chuckled. The magic skills of the blood flame ancient demon are naturally not so easy to steal, but by observing the flow of its magic energy and understanding how to make the magic weapon vibrate with high waves, it is not difficult for Luo Hong. However, the scope of application of this method is not wide. Without the cooperation of a special magic weapon, if it is forced to be activated, it will be the fate of the golden moon scimitar at this time. I'm afraid this treasure will be useless after this, so let's make the best use of it now. After Luo Hong made up his mind, he suddenly sent a message to Wei Wu'er and others below. Alliance Master Wei, Luo's arrangement is complete. Please help to delay the other ancient demon for a while. Fellow Daoist Luo, please do what you want. Wei and fellow Daoist Zong will do their best to delay. Wei Wu'er thought Luo Hong was going to use the purple sky divine thunder, and hurriedly responded. After that, he led the old man surnamed Zong and the only two remaining 5 element spirit infants to attack the demon soul. The demon soul was naturally happy to hand over the most difficult enemy to the soul. He had just lost a lot of essence, but he urgently needed to devour the Yuanying to replenish it. When he spoke just now, the huge ancient demon had already used the magical power of reconnecting broken limbs to reconnect his severed demon arm. There was no trace left at the break, as if the arm had never been broken. At this time, seeing the battlefield split into two, the giant ancient demon did not want to fight Luo Hong, but it felt like it was being locked, so it did not dare to escape at will. Humph, it seems that he has noticed something. King Feng, let's start. Luo Hong stared at the giant ancient demon with a stern expression, and whispered in secret, "Yes, sir." As soon as King Feng finished speaking, invisible waves enveloped the entire sky. Chapter 518 Incarnation. Following Luo Hong's order, a green shadow shot out from the sky demon flag, and rushed straight up to the sky. After escaping hundreds of feet in an instant, the green shadow hit an invisible barrier with a bang, and immediately turned into a green rime rippling. In the swaying green light, layers of green runes emerged, and a power that made the soul tremble gradually emerged. The huge ancient demon felt an unprecedented threat from this gradually formed rune formation, and knew that the other party was going to take his life with it, and his face suddenly became extremely solemn. Without a moment's hesitation, the huge ancient demon brought his forearms together in front of him, and the four black blades he held immediately condensed into one, turning into a terrifying demon blade 10 feet long. Under the blessing of the shaking wave demon art, this demon blade looked extremely blurry, and the surrounding space was slightly rippled by it. But the huge ancient demon still seemed dissatisfied with the power of this demon blade. The horns of the two heads emitted a dazzling white light at the same time, and then each shot out a pale light column, which sank into the demon blade. At this time, both heads of the giant ancient demon showed a look of pain. It was obvious that it was very costly for him to activate the magical power of the demon body's horn. However, the effect was also extremely significant. After absorbing the white light column, the originally slightly illusory shape of the demon blade quickly became solid, and complex pale bone patterns appeared on the surface, and the aura suddenly became extremely deep. Seeing this, the giant ancient demon raised his head suddenly, and locked his eyes on Luo Hong in the sky. The demon blade immediately felt something, and with a terrifying scream, it stabbed towards Luo Hong. While the giant ancient demon was desperate to hit a fatal blow, the green rune formation above Luo Hong's head had been fully spread out. This formation was large in scale, with a total of 9 layers interlocking, and the top circle spanned more than 30 miles, with an astonishing momentum. In the eyes of others, this formation was composed of countless mysterious green runes, but that was just an illusion constructed by Luo Hong. Its true appearance was countless foreign demons flying along mysterious trajectories. This scene of thousands of demons being controlled by one person was too horrifying, so Luo Hong had to cover up a little. Seeing the demon blade shooting at him, Luo Hong calmly extended his sword and pointed it, shouting with a murderous look on his face, "Die." Suddenly, all the green talismans in the 9-layer giant formation lit up, and the invisible spell fluctuation set off a storm in the real world. The next moment, the huge ancient demon's eyes widened. He only felt that his soul was scraped by countless sharp knives, and he was heading towards destruction at an unimaginable speed and unstoppable posture. You are not a human. In the last moment before his consciousness disappeared, the huge ancient demon's silver eyes reflected the true face of the 9-layer talisman formation. It seemed to be able to penetrate Luo Hong's body and see the seeds of the demon on his soul, and realized what kind of power he died from. With the ending sound of the word human, the huge ancient demon's eyes quickly dimmed, and the demon blade he condensed also collapsed in an instant due to losing control. After the attack, the 9-layer talisman array disappeared quickly in the eyes of others, just like sand in the wind. In fact, it was King Feng and a group of decadent extraterritorial demons who returned to the demon flag. At this time, Luo Hong's face was pale and looked extremely weak. Although this magical power relies mostly on the power of extraterritorial demons, it also consumes a lot of my mind and soul, and even caused many white demons to collapse. It seems that I can't use it often. Just as Luo Hong was mumbling to sum up, an extremely angry roar came from Wei Wuya. The demon soul had just swallowed a 5-element spirit infant when he suddenly realized that he had lost contact with his soul. He immediately turned his head to look at Luo Hong, just in time to see the 8-zang body of a huge ancient demon falling from the sky powerlessly. The demon soul immediately realized that the soul had been destroyed and his cultivation had been lost forever. He couldn't help but reveal an extremely tyrannical look on his face. Then, he used blood flames to force Wen Wu'er and others to retreat and turned into a black light, rushing straight towards the falling demon body. After killing the blood flame soul, Luo Hong had been paying attention to the movement of the demon soul. Seeing it rushing towards the demon body, he immediately forced himself to concentrate, regardless of the demon flag that was still gathering the outer devil, and continued to use the teleportation magic to escape to the vicinity of the demon body. This is Luo's important trophy, you can't take it away. With a thought, Luo Hong's right palm brushed across Danshan, and a touch of golden light was secretly held in his palm. Get out of my way. Luo Hong's ability to kill the soul made the demon soul very afraid. At the moment, he didn't want to fight him head on, but just wanted to enter the demon body as soon as possible. So, the demon soul, regardless of the consumption of essence, blasted out several balls of blood flames, trying to force Luo Hong back. This is Luo's incarnation, you should get out. Luo Hong bit his tongue, and blood essence and black crow true flames spit out from his mouth, and he fought against the blood flames without showing any weakness. At the same time, he used his divine mind to drive the golden moon scimitar, and slashed towards the demon soul. Mohan was furious when he heard this, and he saw Luo Hong's pale face, as if he had lost his true energy, and he suddenly became ruthless. He swung his 3 arms together and slashed out a black blade light, deflecting the attacking golden moon scimitar. Then, a black light flashed around his body, and he mysteriously escaped to the side and back of Luo Hong. At this time, the 3 remaining black light blades in his hands had condensed into a black light ball without knowing when, emitting a violent and amazing demonic energy. Obviously, Mohan wanted to use this attack to get rid of Luo Hong, who was blocking his way. But before he could make a move, Luo Hong seemed to have expected a sneak attack and swung his right arm at him, and a short golden cone wrapped in a colorful halo shot straight into his chest and abdomen. There was no doubt that this treasure was the demon breaking cone that Luo Hong had carefully refined for many years. The demon breaking cone was as powerful as thunder and fire, and Luo Hong and Mohan were only a few feet apart, so Mohan's eyes flashed with a golden stream of light, and he felt that a foreign object pierced his chest. Explode. After succeeding, Luo Hong did not hesitate to make the devil breaking cone self-destruct, exerting its maximum power. With a roar, the demon soul screamed and retreated violently. The golden Buddha flames exploded in many places on its demonized body. If you listen carefully, you can also hear the Buddhist chanting. Under the burning of the golden Buddha flames, the hideous black armor on the demon soul, which was condensed by the secret magic of the magic way, melted into black water. His breath also suddenly slipped a little. Obviously, although the self-destruction of the devil breaking cone failed to kill him, it did cause him to be seriously injured. After severely injuring the demon soul, Luo Hong did not pursue him, but slapped the spirit beast bag on his waist and put the 8-foot demon body into it. Han Leo Mo's incarnation body is the Shanju demon corpse, so he naturally cannot lose. This demon body is very suitable for being an incarnation body. Otherwise, why would Luo Hong deliberately save the demon soul from the space vortex? Seeing his body being taken away, Mohan was extremely unwilling, but his current condition was very bad. After being tossed around for several times, Nan Long Hao's body had reached its limit. Even if Mohan wanted to ignore the loss of soul power and fight Luo Hong to the death, he couldn't do it. Chapter 519. 9-turn soul destroying formation. Although the demon body was extremely important, the demon soul still decisively chose to flee far away after recognizing the current situation. Watching the black light disappear in the sky, Luo Hong did not chase after it, even though his mind had recovered a lot. The blood flame ancient demon was the key to opening the Kunwu divine mountain of the Great Jin dynasty. Not to mention the treasures in this mountain. The spatial node information provided by Linglang Yao Fei alone was something Luo Hong must get. Therefore, Luo Hong had to let one of the main soul and the split soul of the blood flame ancient demon go. And the demon body occupied by the split soul was also favored by him, so it was inevitable that the demon soul could survive according to Luo Hong's plan. Seeing the demon soul fleeing far away, Wei Wu'er did not set out to chase it. After all, he was already seriously injured, and after a hasty healing, he had experienced a fierce battle, and his current state was extremely poor. However, he did not intend to let the demon soul escape. He had just played several sound transmission notes to notify the friendly Yuan cultivators in the valley to chase the demon soul. After collecting the green cloud, Wei Wu'er looked at Luo Hong with a complicated expression, then smiled and approached him, bowing and saying, "This time, we killed the demon thanks to Dao Luo and Dao Han, otherwise our lives would be in danger. Now Dao Han has been teleported to an unknown place by the space crack. If Dao Luo has a way to rescue him, we will cooperate with him." Wei Wu'er did not ask Luo Hong why he let the demon soul go. After all, the other party had killed an ancient demon alone and severely injured another one. No one had any reason to ask for more from the other party. The space crack is extremely dangerous. Dao Luo, please rescue junior brother Han immediately. The old man surnamed Cheng was extremely anxious at this time. Han Li was now the signboard and backer of their Luo sect. No one could lose him without him. Don't worry, Dao Cheng, junior brother Han, should not be in danger at this time. Luo Hong took out 2 pills and swallowed them slowly, saying without any worry, "Oh, could it be that fellow Daoist Luo knows where fellow Daoist Han is right now?" Wei Wu'er raised his eyebrows and said in surprise. The space crack was filled with space wind. Even if Han Li was lucky enough to survive, he would be teleported to any place, including the GD like the 9 nether sky. Considering the relationship between Luo Hong and Han Li, it was a little abnormal for him to be so relieved at this time. I can't tell where junior brother Han is right now, but it should be a space fragment left by an ancient cultivator. You two Daoists must have seen that when the space crack opened, colorful rays of light swept out. This ray of light should be some kind of ancient restriction. It was under the influence of this that junior brother Han failed to break free from the suction of the space vortex in time and was swallowed into the crack. In other words, the space crack caused by the fight between junior brother Han and the demon soul accidentally connected to a space fragment somewhere in the valley, which triggered the ancient restriction. Luo Hong naturally knew where Han Leo Mo was now, but he obviously would not tell Wei Wu'er and others, otherwise he would be doing Han Leo Mo a disservice. Even so, there is no guarantee that junior brother Han is completely safe. Since Daoist Luo's magic weapon can tear apart space, it must be no problem to reopen the passage. The old man surnamed Cheng had heard Han Li talk about his relationship with Luo Hong, so he pointed to the sky demon flag in the sky without any politeness. It's true that a short-term tear in space is not difficult for me, but it is almost impossible to accurately connect to the space fragment where junior brother Han is. Therefore, the premise of this matter is to first find the node that connects the space fragment to the outside world. And I have just sensed that there is no node at the previous location. Luo Hong shook his head. What does this mean? Can the space node move? Wei Wu'er also heard about the space node for the first time and asked curiously. Since it was left by an ancient cultivator, this piece of space debris must have existed for tens of thousands of years, and no one has maintained it during this period. It must have been in an extremely unstable state. In this state, the corresponding space node can not only move, but also has a very large range. It is very likely to run outside the Falling Demon Valley. Therefore, it is undoubtedly like looking for a needle in a haystack to find it. The only thing we can do now is to wait. After all, compared with the outside world, the space debris is much smaller. Junior brother Han only needs to spend some time and he should be able to find the node on the other side of the space debris and get out of trouble. In this regard, Luo is very confident, and fellow Daoist Cheng does not have to worry too much about it. You can't even imagine how happy old Demon Han is now, so don't worry about him. Luo Hong complained in his heart and stretched out his hand, and the sky demon flag in the sky fell rapidly and fell into his hands. Since fellow Daoist Luo said so, I believe fellow Daoist Han We'll be back soon, Brother Cheng can rest assured. After Wei Wu'er chuckled, he couldn't help but look at the heavenly demon flag in Luo Hong's hand. After hesitating for a moment, he said, I have to say, every time we meet fellow Daoist Luo, I always look at him with admiration. It's only been a few years, and fellow Daoist Luo has acquired another amazing magical power. It's really cause for celebration. Although Wei Wu'er did not say it explicitly, Luo Hong could tell what he meant. He just wanted to find out the origin of the 9-layer talisman formation. Luo Hong didn't want his leader to be worried all day and cause him any more trouble, so he said frankly, Alliance Leader Wei, you are too kind. Luo's 9-turn soul-destroying formation has many limitations. If it weren't for fellow Daoist Dongman risking his life to delay, Luo would not be able to use it. Moreover, every time it is used, it causes great damage to the heavenly demon flag. If it weren't for the ancient demon being so powerful, Luo would not be willing to use this magical power. Therefore, this 9-turn soul-destroying formation cannot be called a great magical power. Except for the old man, surnamed Cheng, who was still worried about Hanli, Wei Wu'er. The old man surnamed Zhang and others were speechless when they heard this. This great magical power that can kill powerful demons, that can suppress late-stage nascent soul cultivators with one strike actually has this insignificant limitation. You look so disgusted, it's really uncomfortable to see. Although Luo Hong couldn't hear what they were thinking, just by looking at their expressions, he knew that they were touched by his versatiles. Luo Hong did not come up with this 9-turn soul-destroying array out of thin air, but created it based on a spell called 10,000 Demons Heart-Destroying Mantra inherited from the seed of the heavenly demon. To put it bluntly, this 10,000 Demons Heart-Destroying Mantra is also a powerful soul-destroying spell that uses the power of the outer demons. But its main body is the soul of the caster, that is, Luo Hong's soul. Once used, it will greatly deepen the erosion of Luo Hong's soul by the seed of the heavenly demon, and it will basically die after being backlashed. Therefore, Luo Hong combined the array and the spell to transform it, and it became a 9-turn soul-destroying array with King Feng as the main body and 10,000 demons as the auxiliary. This magical power is currently Luo Hong's strongest means of destroying the enemy. Even a cultivator of the divine transformation can't withstand a soul-destroying attack of this array. Of course, the premise is to hit it. After all, the precasting of this magical power is a bit long. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 520 Leaving the Valley. As they were talking, several strong waves of mana were heard from afar, and they were in the direction where the demon soul was escaping. Needless to say, the demon soul must have run into other nascent soul cultivators and was fighting with them. This demon can swallow human nascent souls to recover from injuries. We must not let the other Taoist friends in the valley fall into its hands. If Taoist Luo still has some strength left, why not go with Wei and others to help? Wei Wu'er did not have the courage to stop the demon soul that was fleeing for its life, but he still had the courage to besiege the demon soul with others, and it was very strong. Using the 9-turn soul-destroying formation has consumed a lot of my mind. Otherwise I would not have to self-destruct an ancient treasure to force the demon soul back. I really don't have the strength to fight again at the moment. Please forgive me, Leader Wei. Luo Hong wanted to let the demon soul go, and naturally he couldn't refuse at this moment. Wei Wu'er did not force him to do so, and immediately led the old man surnamed Cheng and others to escape in the direction where the noise came from. After Wei Wu'er and the others disappeared into the horizon, Yuan Yao suddenly spoke with great concern. Husband, is Brother Han really okay? Don't worry, he's fine. The spiritual energy that emanated from the space crack at that time was far beyond that of ordinary spiritual places. In a place like the Netherworld, Junior Brother Han can protect himself, not to mention a place with abundant spiritual energy. Luo Hong explained casually, and then went to find a ban that could be used to teleport outside the valley. For him, all his goals in the Fallen Demon Valley have now been achieved, and there is no reason to stay any longer. Just as he was about to leave, Yuan Yao's reluctant voice came faintly. "Husband, I have just finished refining the Zhenhe pearl." Luo Hong's expression froze when she heard this, and then she smiled bitterly and said, "Really? It's indeed time. Are you ready?" "Yes. I want to achieve immortality with my husband." Yuan Yao's tone was extremely firm, and it was obvious that she made the decision after careful consideration. Although Luo Hong was very reluctant, he knew that Yuan Yao had made the right choice. The sky repairing stone cannot be sensed in the valley. Let's talk about it after we get out. The joy of successfully obtaining the body of the ancient demon disappeared with Yuan Yao's departure. Luo Hong flew sullenly in the inner valley and headed for the nearest ancient teleportation array. Ningzhou in Dangaiu country of Xianan is an inconspicuous small state next to Changsha, where the falling demon valley is located. Compared with the mountains all over Changsha, Ningzhou has few vegetation, few rivers, and few spiritual lands. Except for a few immortal cultivation families, there are no other immortal cultivation forces in the territory. However, because of this, they have escaped from all kinds of disputes, and are free and easy. In the southwest of Ningzhou, there is a small mountain range called Linglin Mountain, which covers an area of no more than 100 miles. Only 2 of the mountain tops have spiritual veins, but they are jointly controlled by 3 immortal cultivation families. It can be imagined that these 3 families are all small and insignificant families, let alone giant and stage cultivators. There are not even 2 foundation building stage cultivators in the family. On this day, Linglin Mountain was rarely filled with joy. The sound of gongs and drums resounded throughout the forest. It was the Wang family marrying off their daughter and the Li family marrying their daughter. At this time, in the main hall on the main peak, the children of the 3 families gathered here to celebrate the wedding. It was very lively as they toasted each other. In the past 100 years, such intermarriages have been staged between the 3 families from time to time, so the Huang family, which is not one of the 2 families, did not have any special thoughts about it. In fact, the heads of the 3 families knew that they were already in a state of merging. If one of the families could produce a high-level cultivator, the other 2 families would attach themselves to it without any resistance. In the wedding hall, the heads of the Wang and Li families sat in front, and a man and a woman in wedding clothes walked slowly to the congratulations of the crowd. "Haha, Brother Wang, your daughter is quite talented. She has already practiced the basic skills to the 5th level at the age of 20. Are you really willing to marry her to my Li family?" The old man of the Li family stroked his white beard with a smile, and he was obviously very satisfied with the daughter of the Wang family. "Haha, as long as Brother Li doesn't treat Nua badly, why should I be reluctant to let her go? I heard that Brother Li received a bottle of key condensation powder and a batch of supreme talismans from outside. Now he should not be stingy, right?" The old man of the Wang family said with a smile on his face and a cunning light in his eyes. "Good Brother Wang, you actually waited for me here. It seems that, if I don't bleed today, I will be nagged by you for a few years." The old man of the Li family laughed and scolded, but did not show any embarrassment. It was obvious that he was well prepared. Sure enough, when the 2 new Liwats stood still, he threw out a jade bottle and a pair of red agate bracelets and said, "Nua is marrying into my Li family today, and I, the head of the Li family, can't say I don't have any. Here is half a bottle of key condensation powder and a pair of fiery bracelets. You can accept them with peace of mind." "Grandpa, this is too expensive. We can't accept it." The groom on the side was shocked when he learned what the old man gave him, and waved his hand to refuse. "It's not for you. Is it your turn to speak?" The old man of the Li family glared, waved his hand, and was about to hand the 2 wedding gifts to the bride in the hall. At this moment, a low thunder suddenly sounded in the wedding hall, and then a ball of white spiritual light appeared out of thin air, stirring up a gust of wind, directly lifting the bride's head cover, revealing a cute round face with fear and anxiety. The 3 families watching the ceremony on both sides were all blown to the ground, feeling anxious. Then, the white light suddenly dimmed, and in the surprised eyes of the 2 foundation building stage family heads, a figure suddenly appeared in the air. After his vision became clear, Luo Hong found himself in a hall covered with wedding characters. He sent out his spiritual sense, and sensed that there were only dozens of low-level cultivators in this place within a radius of hundreds of miles. Looking at their stunned expressions, they were obviously frightened by his sudden appearance. Thinking of this, Luo Hong slowly landed on the ground and suddenly felt something uncomfortable under his feet. Just as he was about to look down, he heard a crisp sound. It turned out that he didn't control his strength and crushed a pair of bracelets. On the other side, there was a broken jade bottle, and the 5 pills in it were scattered everywhere. Key condensation powder? With the cultivation level of these cultivators, they should regard this pill as their life. I'm afraid it's scattered on the ground because of the noise I made. Just as Luo Hong was looking around, the 2 heads of the Wang and Li families on the first seat were also looking at him. Although they did not sense a trace of magical power from Luo Hong, they knew from the way he appeared that Luo Hong was definitely not an ordinary person. Especially when the old man of the Li family saw Luo Hong accidentally crush the fiery bracelet, his eyes almost popped out. When he bought this bracelet, his old friend swore that this bracelet was as powerful as fire and as strong as iron, and it was a magical weapon for attack and defense. But now, this man who suddenly appeared just crushed it with a casual kick. If the other party used all his strength, how powerful would he be? The old man of the Li family did not dare to think any further. Chapter 521 Return to the Sect. Where is this place? Is it still within the borders of Dangyu country? After confirming the surrounding situation, Luo Hong turned his eyes and stared at the head of the Li family with the highest cultivation in front of him, and asked without allowing any refusal. This is Ningxiao in Dangyu country. I don't know your name, senior. Please teach me. Although the head of the Li family is not a cultivator in the middle stage of foundation building, he is extremely respectful to the man with a mortal aura at this time. He did not dare to neglect it and bowed deeply, and then replied carefully. Ningxiao? Luo Hong repeated the name of the place and nodded slightly. At this time, a slight sobbing sound came from behind Luo Hong. He turned around and saw the female cultivator in red clothes staring at the things under his feet with tears in her eyes. Seeing Luo Hong's actions, the heads of the Wang and Li families couldn't help but feel nervous, fearing that Nua would annoy the other party. Husband, the wedding dress is so beautiful. Suddenly, a crisp and melodious female voice came from Luo Hong's body. Although the sound was pleasant, everyone in the hall felt cold after hearing it, as if a yin energy had invaded their bodies. Therefore, everyone looked at Luo Hong with a little more fear. Especially Nua. She covered her mouth tightly to prevent herself from crying. Jaoa, do you like it? Luo Hong asked in a gentle tone, seemingly talking to herself. After this separation, I don't know how many centuries it will take for me to see my husband again. Before leaving, Jaoa wants to wear it once to show my husband, so that he won't forget Jaoa in the future. Cultivation is difficult, and it is not foolproof to have a suitable spiritual place. Yuan Yao is also a decisive person. After returning to the netherworld this time, she will not come out again, unless she cultivates to the state of transformation. When it was time to leave, she felt reluctant to leave. Seeing others in wedding clothes and full of guests, Yuan Yao couldn't help but envy. Although she and Luo Hong had a high level of cultivation, they did not enter the world of mortals, and their lives were far less loving than those of ordinary couples. So, at this moment, Yuan Yao suddenly had a small wish. Luo Hong felt guilty towards Yuan Yao. Although immortal cultivators are not bound by conventions, it is always unreasonable to have nothing. Now that Yuan Yao has this wish, he will try his best to satisfy her. I'm really sorry for bothering you today. This accident is not what I want. After this incident, I think it is better to postpone the wedding of these two for a few days. All of this is my apology. After saying this, Luo Hong waved his sleeves and threw out 2 bottles of elixirs and 2 magical instruments with powerful aura. He used his divine thoughts to divide them into 2 parts, one floating to the head of the Li family and the other floating to the married female cultivator. Senior, you are too polite. It is a great honor for us to have the opportunity to meet you. How dare I blame you? Hearing that Luo Hong had no hostility, the head of the Li family breathed a sigh of relief. After taking a deep look at the medicine bottles and magical instruments in front of him, he declined. Luo is also a low-level cultivator. How could I not know what you are thinking at this moment? There is no need to pretend. Since it is given to you, you should accept it with peace of mind. In addition, Luo has some personal matters that need to be dealt with urgently, and I need your cooperation. Luo Hong looked at the head of the Li family with lightning eyes and said lightly, "Cooperate. Our Wang and Li families will definitely cooperate. Please give me your orders." The head of the Wang family knew that the opportunity had come and hurriedly jumped out to show his presence. In this case, you will listen carefully. After Luo Hong's explanation, the three families in the hall quickly retreated and evacuated the main peak. Afterwards, a girl from the Huang family flew to the wedding hall alone and presented a luxurious wedding dress. Luo Hong casually sent a flying sword magic weapon and sent her away. At this time, a green smoke floated out from Luo Hong's danchan, rolled up the wedding dress, and then transformed into the figure of Yuan Yao. "Husband, is Jao beautiful?" Looking at the beauty in front of him, Luo Hong gradually became a little infatuated. The next morning, the three cultivators who had been paying attention to the main peak saw a blue light break through the air. A few months later, near Washan, Luo Hong suddenly stopped the light and seemed to be talking to herself. "Miss Yan, do you plan to start traveling directly or go to Huangfeng Valley for a few days?" As soon as the voice fell, a charming female voice came from the bamboo tube behind Luo Hong. "I won't trouble brother Luo. Anyway, as long as I have these two protective magic weapons given by brother Luo, and with my own Yuanying stage cultivation, there will be no danger in traveling alone. These days, I have also learned enough about Xianan. Let's say goodbye here." As he spoke, a wisp of green smoke floated out of the bamboo tube and quickly condensed into Yanla's appearance. Previously, when he was in Linglan Mountain, Luo Hong had opened the space channel, sent Yuan Yao back to the netherworld, and took his sister out. Thinking of this, Luo Hong couldn't help but recall the surprise Yuan Yao prepared for him that night. Long ago, when he had just returned to Xianan and passed through Huashan Peak, he encountered two nascent soul cultivators who were monitoring his senior sister. At that time, Yuan Yao volunteered to kill the female cultivator, and Luo Hong thought that she was too quiet and wanted to fight with others to test her strength. It was not until that night a few months ago that he knew that Yuan Yao had taken the essence of the female cultivator by force. Obviously, she had made a decision at that time. Looking at the beautiful light going away, Luo Hong couldn't help but look down at his palm, as if he could still feel Yuan Yao's fiery jade skin that night. After indulging for a moment, Luo Hong suddenly cheered up and rushed straight to the Yellow Maple Valley. Not long after, he passed through the mountain protection formation and returned to the sect. Linghu Patriarch naturally had to ask him about the situation, and Luo Hong told him about the appearance of the ancient demon in the Fallen Demon Valley. With the help of Alliance leader Wei and many fellow Taoists in the valley, the demon soul that was seriously injured by junior brother will surely fall in the valley. When Elder Linghu first heard about this shocking change, he was extremely shocked. Later, when he heard Luo Hong say that he personally killed one of the two demons and seriously injured the other, he felt relieved. "Senior brother is so happy. I'm afraid we can't relax on this matter." Luo Hong took a sip of spiritual tea and reminded him. "Why? Junior brother Luo thinks that the demon soul still has a chance to turn over?" Elder Linghu had never seen the fierce power of the ancient demon. When he heard Luo Hong's implication, the demon soul might still escape, so he asked in surprise. The methods of the demon soul are treacherous and its magic skills are even more powerful. Wei Wu'er is not in his prime, and he is the only cultivator in the late nascent soul stage in the valley. The demon soul is likely to escape. Once this demon comes out of the falling demon valley, it will definitely devour the nascent souls of cultivators everywhere in order to recover from its injuries. My Huangfeng Valley must be on guard. The falling demon valley can be said to be the home court of the demon soul. If the opponent does not choose to fight hard, it is not difficult to get rid of the besieged cultivators. Besides, if the besieged cultivators are careless, and he swallows a few nascent souls, it is hard to say who will escape. Junior brother, with the power to kill the demon body, I'm afraid that, even if the demon soul leaves the valley, it will not come to my Huangfeng Valley to cause trouble, right? Hearing Luo Hong emphasize the power of the demon soul so much, Linghu Patriarch couldn't help but frown, but still said with luck. Haha, that's hard to say. After all, junior brother has robbed the other party of something important. May I ask, senior brother, what kind of industry is there in the valley 300 miles north of Luo Peak? While talking about the demon soul, Luo Hong suddenly changed the subject and asked about a small valley in the sect. Well, I remember that the fire spirit energy is deposited in that small valley. Although it is not suitable for cultivation, it is suitable for cultivating low-level spiritual medicines of the fire element. So elder, you built a small-scale medicine garden there. Junior brother, do you have other uses for it? After recalling it, elder Ling Hu asked with doubt. Chapter 522, Spirit and Demon. Luo Hong smiled slightly, put the spirit beast bag containing the ancient demon's body on the table, and said frankly, this is the body of the ancient demon. It will be very useful to me in the future. However, its demonic energy is difficult to tame, and cannot be carried with you. It must be restrained in the formation. The body of the blood flame ancient demon exudes true demonic energy all the time. Everything that the demonization touches cannot be blocked by the spirit beast bag. Before refining the external incarnation, Luo Hong must find a place to put him. Ancient demon's body? Let me take a look. Upon hearing this, the ancestor Ling Hu became interested immediately, stretched out his hand, and grabbed the spirit beast bag on the table, and probed his spiritual consciousness into it. When he saw the ancient demon's true body, which was 8 feet tall, with 2 heads and 4 arms, and sensed the terrifying demonic energy it exuded, his heart couldn't help but tremble violently. Such a terrifying monster, but junior brother Luo was able to kill it without any injury. His strength is probably infinitely close to that of a great cultivator in the late nascent soul stage. After being shocked, elder Ling Hu felt that there was someone to succeed Huangfeng Valley, and immediately took the trouble to help Luo Hong to arrange the transformation of the small valley. A medicine garden that grows low-level fire-type spiritual medicines is insignificant to a nascent soul cultivator. Since Luo Hong had given the order, Yuang, who was in charge of this place, naturally moved what could be moved from the medicine garden, and directly raised what could not be moved. 10 days later, there was a forbidden area in Huangfeng Valley. Curious disciples watched from afar in the air, and could only see that the original small valley had been shrouded in thick black air, and their spiritual consciousness was blocked by the formation, and could not penetrate into it at all. In addition, elder Ling Hu personally ordered that all Huangfeng Valley disciples were not allowed to leave the sect within 3 years, unless there was an important matter. Obviously, he did this to prevent the revenge of the demon soul. However, even if the demon soul came to him, Ling Hu Patriarch was not afraid, because Luo Hong had told him that he would not go out for at least 30 years. In the forbidden area, Luo Hong checked the formation that sealed the demon energy for the last time, and then looked up at the demon body that he had arranged in a cross-legged position. The chest and abdomen of the demon were still rising and falling slightly. If Luo Hong had not sensed a trace of the soul, he would have thought that the other party was still alive and was just sleeping at this time. The demon body has extremely strong vitality. Even if it has lost its soul, it can still maintain a certain vitality, which is somewhat similar to the living dead. Without a large supply of demon energy, the demon body suddenly cannot generate intelligence, so Luo Hong did not set up any forbidden formation here. After staring at the demon body for a while, Luo Hong didn't know what he thought of, but his eyes suddenly lost focus, and he was distracted. After a long while, his eyes lit up again, and he suddenly said, after these years of research, I finally roughly figured out the relationship between demonic energy and spiritual energy. The secrets contained in it are really disturbing. Luo Hong sighed, flipped his palm, and took out his research notes. After opening the first page, it was written that he had studied the starting point of demonic energy for these years. After contact with demonic energy, spiritual energy will be contaminated into demonic energy. Note, the demonic energy here refers to the real demonic energy. From this point of view, Luo Hong can basically determine that the two energies of spirit and demon are of the same origin. In this case, the demonic energy should also be composed of demon particles similar to spirit particles, but the physical properties of the two are completely different. According to the known information, the power of the same energy level of magic released by spirit particles is lower than that released by demon particles. This shows that under the same conditions, demon particles are more active than spirit particles. and based on previous research, Luo Hong is convinced that spirit particles are a kind of high energy particles that are smaller than atoms. Well, based on the above two characteristics, it is not difficult to guess that the demon particle is formed by the splitting of the spirit particle. That's right, the spirit particle is not the smallest particle. Like an atom, it is also composed of particles similar to protons and neutrons. Moreover, it is very likely that each spirit particle contains more than one or two particles of this kind. As we all know, in the periodic table, the later the element is, the greater its mass. For example, the molar mass of element 119, KAO, is as high as 294, which is 294 times heavier than the hydrogen atom. At that time, KAO did not exist in nature because it was too heavy. Just like a very heavy creature cannot support the weight of its body and will be crushed by itself. If the element is too heavy, it will also split. After this element 119 is synthesized, it can only exist for 9/10,000ths of a second, and then it will quickly decay into other element. Obviously, the spirit particle is far less stable than the air, but it is not as stable as the hydrogen atom. At least after it comes into contact with the demon particle, it will split and become a new demon particle. After muttering to himself, Luo Hong condensed a ball of spiritual energy in his hand, and then he threw it gently into the demon energy. Without the interference of external forces, the spiritual energy ball quickly dispersed and was swallowed by the demon energy at a relatively slow speed until it disappeared. Normally, the effect of the demon particle on the spirit particle is not intense. It can even be said to be slow, and its rate is decreasing. This is quite similar to the phenomenon when a high temperature object transfers heat to a low temperature object. But I remember that when the demon world invaded the human world, it had released the ancestral demon energy. The effect of this thing splitting the spirit particle is very terrifying, and I don't know what the principle is. This demon energy is now sealed at the bottom of the demon sealing tower in Kunwu Mountain. When I go there, I will definitely study it. Luo Hong's thoughts turned, and he thought of something worth studying. Although some empirical evidence is still lacking, Luo Hong's current conjecture about the demon is enough to explain all the related phenomena he knows. Therefore, Luo Hong is more confident that he is on the right path. However, as time goes by, all the spiritual energy in the mortal world will be transformed into demonic energy one day. Although this cannot be called the end of the world, it is enough to destroy all existing immortal cultivation systems except the magic path. Although this day will be in the very distant future, Luo Hong still feels that he must be prepared. This is the fundamental reason why he defined the body of his incarnation as the body of the ancient demon. If the world will eventually fall into the devil, my great way may be able to turn the world around. With a hint of imagination about the future, Luo Hong turned and left the valley. Since the separation in the past, Yu Ruoxi has been practicing in seclusion again. Luo Hong didn't want to disturb her, so he went back to his cave. From the Black Domain secret realm to the Fallen Demon Valley, Luo Hong hasn't practiced well in recent times. After calming down, he found that he had a lot of things to do. First of all, the practice of the one thought transformation technique can no longer be delayed, otherwise it would be a joke with his life. The next step is to refine the flying sword of the space crack, which must also be prepared. In addition, the strange little insects obtained from the broken pit must also be cultivated. Hey, speaking of spiritual insects, I forgot to give the three-headed python to senior brother Ling Hu. Next time Yu Yang brings spiritual materials, let him pass it on to me. Chapter 523, Transaction with Silver Fairy. Although Luo Hong didn't like to decorate the cave, he had disciples to do it for him, so this cave, which Luo Hong had only stayed in for a few days after it was built, did not look simple. Passing through the front hall used for meeting guests, Luo Hong came to the depths of the cave, where there were many forbidden stone chambers he had opened. Luo Hong walked to the door of a stone chamber that was 100 feet long and wide, waved his hand to open the forbidden stone door, and threw out a spirit beast bag from his waist. The next moment, a fishy wind gushed out of the bag, and 12 dark purple insect shadows emerged. After the extraterritorial demon took over the bodies of these flying purple striped scorpions, they could not exert their full strength before their bodies and souls were completely integrated. But even so, it was not difficult for the 12 purple striped scorpions to rush up and hold the demon body for a while. After all, its body was indeed very hard, not inferior to the gold-eating insect. However, Dan Mentu unexpectedly appeared and did the job for him, so Luo Hong did not sacrifice them later. After releasing the spirit beast bag, the 12 purple striped scorpions showed no signs of ferocity. They all stood obediently in front of Luo Hong, as if waiting for orders. Using the mechanism of the extraterritorial demon's possession of the body, Luo Hong was able to forcibly enslave the vicious insects that would not have surrendered, but at the same time, it also buried hidden dangers. The extraterritorial demon was not obedient to him, Luo Hong, but to the demon seed attached to his soul, so to be safe, he had to leave a ban in the purple striped scorpion's body. Because of the full cooperation of the purple striped scorpion, it was not difficult to impose a ban. After a while, Luo Hong left a ban on the vital parts of their bodies. In addition, it was not difficult to feed this group of poisonous insects. They almost eat all things with strong toxicity, whether it is highly toxic spiritual materials or bone-eroding spiritual medicines. As long as they can bite, there is nothing they can't swallow. However, to cultivate the flying purple striped scorpion to advance, it is necessary to specially prepare venom and feed it for many years. The best way is to let Luo ripen the highly toxic ancient spiritual medicine and keep feeding it to them. Or he could raise the poisonous spiritual materials himself and provide them for refining. The former would make their cultivation level rise faster, while the latter would be more significant in strengthening the insect body. But now that Luo was in retreat in Lingmiao Garden, Luo Hong himself did not have the leisure to think about it, so he casually threw out a bunch of low-level poisons and left the stone chamber. Not many feet forward, Luo Hong pushed open the door of another stone chamber. Suddenly, a spiritual energy far beyond the outside world rushed to his face, and he saw a bay of spiritual spring in the center of the stone chamber. Compared with the previous stone chamber, this one was much smaller, only 10 feet long and wide, but it seemed very lively under the nourishment of the spiritual spring. The stone walls around were covered with moss. After entering it, Luo Hong took out a jade box, removed the lid of the box, and saw more than 100 silver beetles as small as red beans. Despite such obvious disturbance, these silver beetles remained calm and buried their heads in gnawing at the boundary crystals that Luo Hong had placed in the box. This scene was exactly the same as the last time he checked. Then, Luo Hong extended his sword finger and pointed at the spiritual spring, and a beam of magic light shot out. As soon as the magic light column sank into the spiritual spring, the stone chamber began to vibrate slightly, and soon a green jade platform with a diameter of 3 feet and engraved with a ray pattern stretched out from the bottom of the spiritual spring. After absorbing the spiritual energy in the spiritual spring, the array patterns on the surface of the jade platform all lit up, and it sounded hazy. Then, Luo Hong shook it hard and threw the silver beetle and boundary crystal in the jade box onto the jade platform. Then, he forced a drop of blood from his fingertips and threw it to the jade platform. As soon as this drop of blood came into contact with the jade platform, it merged into it. Suddenly, a hint of blood was faintly revealed in the spiritual light emitted by the array pattern. Those silver beetles that were still trying to bite the boundary crystal had no idea that a blood rune was gradually emerging on their backs. I didn't expect that Daoist Luo would be interested in this weak spiritual insect and would not hesitate to spend a drop of blood essence to subdue it. Just as Luo Hong finished his work, Fairy Silver suddenly spoke with some curiosity. Fairy, you have a wide range of knowledge. Have you ever seen this kind of spiritual insect that feeds on the power of space? Luo Hong did not explain too much. Since this silver beetle can feed on the power of space, it is extremely valuable for research. As for whether it can be cultivated into a material, he did not care. This fairy does know a few races in the spirit world that are famous for their spatial talents, but they are not insects, and they are only quite accomplished in driving the power of space, and they do not have the ability to eat it alive. In my opinion, this is a mutant spiritual insect, and its value is really hard to say. Fairy Silver obviously did not think highly of the silver beetle. After all, only demon beasts or spiritual insects with weak bloodlines are prone to mutation. Top bloodlines like the real dragon and the phoenix will not change at all, even if they are placed in the broken deep pit for tens of thousands of years. Luo Hong understood what Fairy Yin meant, and knew that she had given him enough face by not devaluing the silver beetle, but he had his own understanding of the power of blood. The reason why the blood of the true dragon and phoenix is strong is that it is integrated with the power of the law. When the human cultivators reach the later stage of cultivation, they must begin to comprehend the power of the law, while the beasts choose to integrate the power of the law into their blood. The advantage of the former is that it is faster to cultivate, while the latter is easier to pass on. These silver beetles are Luo Hong's long-term experiment. He wants to see if he can cultivate a new true spirit from scratch, and it is a true spirit that masters one of the three supreme laws. Xiaojun has already awakened a little blood of the Peng true spirit, so it is not her turn to do this experiment. It's just a casual move. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. Luo Hong naturally would not tell Fairy Yin the truth, and said casually, "It's up to you, as long as fellow Daoist Luo hasn't forgotten the deal between us." Fairy Yin didn't have the time to mind Luo Hong's business, so she immediately changed the subject and mentioned the deal she had made with Luo Hong on the Earth Fire Green Lotus. Luo Hong also guessed that the other party would not come to him for no reason, and that she took the initiative to speak just to urge him to fulfill his promise. "Of course I won't forget this." After saying that, Luo Hong used the Earth Escape technique to pass through the soil and rocks and quickly escape deep underground. After a full quarter of an hour, Luo Hong came to an underground space. The formation here was majestic, and the earth fire was rising. It was the underground fire pool that Luo Hong had opened up before to refine spiritual materials. Luo Hong deliberately escaped to this place, obviously wanting to transplant the earth fire green lotus here. In this way, the original formation was a little insufficient. However, this did not bother Luo Hong. He took out a formation plate and dozens of formation flags, and after working for 3 hours, he customized a forbidden formation specifically for the earth fire green lotus. Then, he opened his mouth and a black and red flame ball flew out. After the fireball slowly landed on the ground, Luo Hong sucked in the air again, and swallowed all the black flames on the surface into his stomach. At the same time, a layer of true flames appeared on his body surface to protect himself. When the true flames dissipated, the blue fox in the fireball was revealed. It was curled up and snoring, unaware that it had escaped. Chapter 524, The Original Divine Talisman. After waiting for a while, Luo Hong found that the other party had no intention of waking up. Then he flicked his finger and an ice cone shot directly at the fox's eyebrows. An ice cone condensed by Luo Hong could not hurt the blue fox. When it flew a few inches away, it instantly turned into gas and disappeared. But the alien spirit still woke up the blue fox in its sleep, making it slowly open its eyes. After seeing its situation clearly, the blue fox was obviously stunned for a moment, and then rushed to the fire pool without saying a word. As a result, as soon as its body was immersed in it, a red light flashed, and the blue fox was bounced back by the restriction. The fire pool was blocked, and the blue fox tried many places in succession, but no matter whether it was a stone wall or the ground, it was covered by restrictions without exception, and it was bounced back every time it hit. Soon, it gave up this useless attempt. "I think you can understand your situation now. Let's talk." Luo Hong's voice suddenly sounded, and the blue fox immediately exploded, and it looked like it was about to pounce. "This place is surrounded by Luo's restrictions. You can't escape. Why don't we make a deal? You work for Luo for 1,000 years, and Luo will provide you with the spiritual materials you need to advance." Luo Hong looked at the blue fox calmly, not caring about its threats at all. Luo Hong had no choice but to give such a condition. If he could forcefully control the blue fox, he would have done it long ago. According to the information given by Fairy Silver, due to its own characteristics, anything that tries to touch its origin will be burned. It's not that you can force it to let go of its mind and control it. So at the moment, Luo Hong had no choice but to coerce and lure the other party to compromise. However, I don't know if it didn't understand or didn't agree at all. The blue fox still looked alert and resentful. Luo Hong frowned, pondered for a moment, and took out a piece of red sun crystal from the treasure bag. This was the remaining fire element spiritual material he had used when he practiced the great 5-element Tang Shengju. It was of extremely high grade and was the best resource for the advancement of the Earth Fire Green Lotus. To Luo Hong's surprise, as soon as he took out the red sun crystal, the blue fox showed a greedy look. It immediately turned into a green shadow and ran in front of him, grabbing his right leg and trying to climb up. Good guy, it turns out to be a foodie, wasting my feelings in vain. Luo Hong silently complained and threw the red sun crystal in his hand. The blue fox immediately stopped pestering him, caught the red sun crystal very quickly, and couldn't wait to bite it. Little guy, if you still want to eat, just do what I say. Luo Hong turned his palm, and immediately there were several more high-grade fire element spiritual materials in his palm. With a click, the blue fox opened his mouth in shock, and the red sun crystal in his mouth fell to the ground. It has been at the bottom of the lava lake for tens of thousands of years. Since it gained intelligence, it has been cultivating by swallowing molten crystals. Those delicious high-grade fire spiritual materials, who knows how many thousands of years, can be tasted. And now, the top-grade fire spiritual materials exuding a graceful aura are piled together like molten crystals. The blue fox blinked twice and nodded hurriedly. Seeing the other party's appearance, Luo Hong couldn't help but sigh. Is this Earth Fire Green Lotus too naive, or are all spiritual medicine creatures so, simple? After a while, Luo Hong successfully made the Earth Fire Green Lotus take root in the fire pool, after paying 5 different top-grade fire spiritual materials. Silver Fairy, what should we do next? As soon as the voice fell, a short silver stick floated out of the storage bag by itself, and the palm-sized silver fairy appeared. Very good, just put me on the lotus head. By the way, put your spiritual flame up as well. Luo Hong nodded slightly upon hearing this, and with a thought, a black fire crow flew out of his right palm. Go. With a light shout, Luo Hong drove the silver short stick and the black crow true flame at the same time, floating above the Earth Fire Blue Lotus. Seeing that there was nothing unusual about the two after they came into contact with the blue flame, he slowly let them fall to the lotus head. During this time, the blue flame emitted by the Earth Fire Blue Lotus transformed into a fire fox, which kept looking around the silver short stick and the black and red fire crow, curious. It would obviously take more than a day or two for the blue flame tempering to take effect. After Luo Hong confirmed that everything was normal, he retreated back to the cave. After returning to the cave, Luo Hong did not go to any stone room again, but directly pushed open the door of the quiet room used for cultivation. Sitting cross-legged on the futon, Luo Hong's mind moved, and a ray of light flashed across the treasure bag, and a jade slip appeared in his palm. The jade slip records nothing else but the Daoju of one thought transformation that Luo Hong got from the Milan people. For the general incarnation ability, the strength of the clone is related to the strength of the split Yuan Shen of the cultivator. In other words, the stronger the clone is, the more cultivation the original body loses. Generally speaking, cultivators who practice this ability will not create a clone that is too strong, but first create a weak one, and then provide resources for the clone to practice. Obviously, in this way, the cultivation of the clone and the original body will be very different, and basically useless. Therefore, those incarnation abilities that can create clones with the same strength as the original body are well-deserved great abilities. For example, the Zuanmu infant transformation method that Han Leo Mo learned is a relatively tricky one. This magic method requires a cultivator to prepare a Yuan, clean it with secret techniques, and then use the split spirit to take over and devour it, so that the cultivated incarnation can become a Yuan cultivator. The early, middle, and late stages of practicing this method are extremely dangerous. In the early stage, you need to kill people to seize the baby. In the middle stage, you need to take over the body of the snake swallowing the elephant. In the late stage, you must be careful to prevent the split spirit from rebelling. After all, the connection between the external incarnation, cultivated by this method, and the main body is weak. If you indulge it a little, it is easy to have two minds. In comparison, Luo Hong's one thought Taoju is a typical Taoist magical power. It is not like the Zuanmu infant transformation method that can reach the nascent soul in one step, but it has the advantage of low risk and fast effect. Luo Hong has comprehended this magical power several times and knows that its core content is to condense a original spirit talisman. According to the description in the method, this Yuanshan talisman is cast by the cultivator with his own essence and contains the perception of the cultivator's magical power. As long as it is placed in the split spirit, the cultivation speed of the split spirit will increase greatly, and the magical power of the main body can also be quickly mastered. In addition, the split spirit itself is a heavy cultivation. As long as the spiritual energy is sufficient, the cultivation level will advance by leaps and bounds. But it is not easy to condense this Yuanshan talisman. The method provided in the jade slip is very mysterious, very classical cultivation. Luo Hong shook his head when he saw it. It is not that Luo Hong looks down on it, but this method is not only unreliable, but also the quality of the condensed Yuanshan talisman is not very good. The theoretical situation recorded in the formula is that a divine talisman can contain all the magical powers of the practitioner. However, the actual result of the Milan people's practice is that it is good enough to condense 2 magical powers in it. Chapter 525, Rebirth in One Thought. In the past 10,000 years, the master named Zhang among the Milan people was undoubtedly the one who practiced the one thought transformation art the best. Not only did he successfully condense 2 original divine symbols and refine 2 clones, but each original divine symbol contained 3 kinds of magical perceptions, so that the clones he refined were much stronger than the cultivators of the same level. Among these 3 magical powers, there is his most skilled Great 5-element immortal capture hand. Originally, practicing this magical power would consume a lot of 5-element spiritual materials, but because of the original divine symbol, his clones immediately mastered this magical power as soon as they reached a certain level of cultivation and could use it freely. In addition to the benefit of accelerating the growth of the clones, the original divine symbol is also closely connected with the main soul, making it almost impossible for the split soul to backfire. With an experimental mentality, Luo Hong tried the practice method described in the art. As a result, except for making himself dizzy and his magic power running wild, he gained nothing. This was not because his aptitude for practicing this magical power was too low, but because this was the difficulty that all cultivators who practiced this magical power would encounter. Compared to the cultivation experience left by the Milan people in the jade slip, his reaction was already very mild. Normally, even a Yuan cultivator would most likely faint on the spot during the first practice. Obviously, in the early stage of condensing the Yuan Shenfu, the cultivator's consciousness was greatly depleted. After Luo Hong checked himself with the physical examination form, he found that his consciousness had been depleted by 10% in just a few days of practice. With his Yuan Shen at the 7th level, he can even suppress the cultivator at the early stage of Hua Shen. His 10% is several times more than the total consciousness power of a cultivator at the early stage of Yuanying. The reason for such a large loss is that Luo Hong is a beginner and does not understand the principle, which causes a lot of unnecessary waste. In order to understand the Yin Nan Hua Daoju, you must first figure out how the Yuan Shenfu is formed. But the difficulty lies in that when operating the magical power, the main Yuan Shen must concentrate and cannot be distracted to observe the changes during the period. This is like a person looking in the mirror and seeing the back of his head, which contains a logical paradox. Fortunately, Luo Hong has a special ability that can detect and record his condition at all times. Although the physical examination form does not have a video recording function, Luo Hong quickly discovered the true face of the Yuan Shenfu by defining the entries, recording and comparing the data. After the Yuan was condensed, Luo Hong's Yuan Shen was no longer a sphere, but a baby. By dividing the Yuan into different blocks, Luo Hong found that when he was running the magic formula, all blocks showed signs of spiritual loss, but some blocks had particularly higher losses. And these blocks with prominent spiritual loss are not fixed, but will move according to a certain pattern. By comparing one of the roots, Luo Hong found the existence that is most likely to produce this phenomenon. That is the silver rune floating in his Yuan Shen. As early as the key refining stage, Luo Hong discovered that the innate magical power of the monster beast would be engraved in the Yuan Shen in the form of silver runes. Although human cultivators are highly intelligent, their souls are essentially the same as those of demon beasts, and they also have silver runes in their bodies. Therefore, if the magic is used for a long time, it will naturally leave a clear mark on the soul. There are many silver runes in Luo Hong's nascent soul, and they are separated by different magical powers, each of which is clearly defined. The group of silver runes he just selected corresponds to the magical power of the myriad aspects divine eye. In this case, referring to the function of the Yuan Shenfu, the answer is already very clear. Although the Yuan Shenfu presents the appearance of a mysterious rune after condensation, it is actually a mixture of many silver runes containing magical information. Putting such a thing in the soul will undoubtedly be of great benefit to its cultivation of magical powers. After all, at the Yuan Shen level, the clone is equivalent to having learned it. I just don't know whether this Yuan Shenfu is copy-paste or cut-paste, but even if it is the latter, it is just a small trouble. Imprinting silver runes in the Yuan Shen is my old skill. Luo Hong touched his chin and a confident smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. After understanding the principle of the Yuan Shenfu, things became much easier. What needs to be done now is to keep trying and strive to condense a perfect Yuan Shenfu, that is, to paste all of his magical powers. When Luo Hong entered the state, 3 months passed in a blink of an eye. After these days of attempts, he accumulated a lot of data and had a deeper understanding of the one thought transformation technique. First of all, this magical power is very dependent on the realm of the Yuan Shen. In order to condense a high-grade Yuan Shenfu, a strong spiritual consciousness is an indispensable hard condition. Of course, this does not form a constraint for Luo Hong. According to the calculation results, his spiritual consciousness is enough to support the condensation of the Yuan Shenfu of perfect quality. In fact, after discovering the mystery of the Yuan Shenfu, Luo Hong's practice in the one thought transformation technique can be described as 1,000 miles a day. Now, as long as he wants, he can easily condense a Yuan Shenfu that contains at least 2 magical powers. But due to a recent flash of inspiration, Luo Hong stopped advancing in this area and started another aspect of research. After integrating a large amount of data, Luo Hong found that, even if he had fully mastered the operation of the one thought transformation technique, when trying the Yuan Shenfu, all the blocks he divided on the Yuan Ying would still have spiritual consciousness loss. This phenomenon aroused Luo Hong's interest, so he did a simple little experiment. The content is to use the silver rune in a branch of his right arm to act on his soul through branding, but not to brand it completely, and then try to operate the magic formula. As a result, according to the data obtained, the loss of consciousness in a block without silver runes is 30% higher than the previous data. Later, Luo Hong repeated the experiment with the silver runes in bones and muscles. Although the degree of data increase was different, there was a significant increase that could not be explained by error. From this, Luo Hong came to a conclusion. The soul actually contains all the silver runes of the flesh, but they are in the deep layer and cannot be seen or used under normal circumstances. It turns out that I have always stayed on the surface. The connection between the soul and the flesh is much closer than I thought before. In the quiet room, Luo Hong sighed. After seeing through this layer of reality, an ambition, or a vision, took root in Luo Hong's heart. If I can condense all the silver runes in my soul into one, and turn it into a soul rune, then I can be reborn with it. Haha, or thought of rebirth. I decided to call it this. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.